030, flying to Air Devil, runway 24, clear for takeoff.
Roger, Delta 252, turn right heading 090, climb and maintain 4,000 feet, clear for takeoff.
Bogeys 135, 50, Angel 16. Port side, high, I'm coming down hard.
Roger. 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Well, folks, welcome to the Aviation Bug, episode number 1. With me is where it all began. 40 years ago, just 2 months ago, was July 2nd, 1985, 40 years ago. And this guy right here, Warren Smith, was my instructor. He took me through my CFI. I did not get my double I or my MEI with him, but everything else was done with Warren. From 85 to about 88, 85 to 88. Started as a sophomore. This guy was 20, I was 16.
Wow.
And we are gonna bring you some good stories. He's done a lot. I'll get into the bio a little bit later. We are in a airplane that Warren actually won, which we'll also get into the story as well. He won this airplane. He owns this airplane basically because of his wife.
Yes.
So welcome to the Aviation Bug. How do you know you have an aviation bug and that you've been bit? Because you can't stop watching, that's why. When an airplane flies over, your neck goes up. When you hear an engine start up, you snap over. Is it a jet? Is it a prop? What is it? You just can't stay away from it in some aspect.
We literally both just did that a little bit ago. We're like,
Oh,
we
yeah,
heard a turbo. This plane.
There's a Piper.
We're like,
yeah.
it's not a bot. We're instantly identifying it.
It's just crazy. And you know what we're talking about. So anyway, welcome. It's going to be too hot to do the entire interview in here, so we're going to head indoors. But just wanted to give you a taste in, what is this thing? Beach Musketeer?
The best name in the business. The Musketeer.
The Musketeer.
Who came up with this? And because there was 3 of them, it was the 3 Musketeers. There was like a low power, like entry level trainer. Then there was kind of this mid grade, but then there was this one, which is the Super Musketeer.
Is this 200 horse?
This is the 200 horse.
So
this is like cross country machine.
All right.
So well done, Beechcraft. The 3 Musketeers were in one of them.
Well, and with that being said, we're going to meet you in just a little while.
We're already getting out.
Yeah, I think we're getting out. Number one, I'm tired of sitting with you in here.
I know, it's like,
I'm starting to sweat.
But this is how it started, because like this is the stand. Like when you taxi an airplane, the instructor's over here. Like I immediately just went into the position. I got my arm over here. I got the door open because you got to have some air, and you're just like, watching you flail away.
And I tell you, I'm not used now to be sitting within 3 inches of you. Like,
it's a little too.
What'd you have for breakfast,
it's
man?
It's a little too, bro.
It is. It is. It's pretty crazy to be starting off in a single engine like this. Like, this kind of makes me a little bit nervous just being in it.
Yeah.
Not only the side, it took me about 5 minutes to get in the cockpit here, because I
should have filmed that.
I didn't even know how to get in.
You were like crawling in on
He's
all
like,
fours.
put the seat back. I don't know how to put my leg. There's cords everywhere, and now we're sitting side by side, and I'm afraid. What are we, 4 feet off the ground? This is ridiculous.
It was like, it's basically you crawled in here the same way you did the first day 40 years ago. Like, it was awkward.
Cessna 150.
Yes, awkward. We were like a little lighter back then.
Well, what was crazy too is he was late for the very first.
There's 2 stories.
Go ahead. He was late because here I am. I'm sitting down. It's in the morning. It's hot and humid in Springfield, Illinois. I'm sitting there. Like, where is this guy? I'm 16 years old, and I'm thinking to myself, this is ridiculous. And then I look over, and here comes Chuck Yeager, basically walking, sauntering over. You can tell by his attitude. He saunters over. Hey, I'm Warren Smith. And that's how it all started. That was lesson number one. And we have been friends for 40 years, family friends, kids friends. We've got dog stories. We've got throwing up in the airplane stories. We've got psycho trying to kill you stories. We've got motorcycle stories. We have aviation stories. There's a lot to tell. We're glad you're here, but we're gonna change the venue. So with that,
hold on.
We'll see you in a little bit. What?
This is why there's probably going to be a fist fight before this even gets going. You told you didn't even tell the opening story right.
That story was exact.
Late. I wasn't
This
late.
has been the story the whole time.
He is 16 years old. First coming to the air. He's early. He's way early because he's so pumped up. And I come around the corner. There he is. He's sitting by the front door outside.
I was sitting.
Yeah, sitting on the ramp. Yeah, and but something crazy that day because I come walking up and then you like, hey, what's up? And you just immediately tell me, here's how this is going to go down. Like I'm pretty much. You remember that?
I don't even.
Yeah, he goes, yeah, I'm gonna be an airline pilot. Yeah, I go, okay, bud, settle down. Let's just kind of start with the basics. You were already there, which was actually kind of cool because you just kind of named it and claimed it that first day.
You got to have
you
goals?
Just told me all about it. Yeah, you just said, here's how it's going to go down.
I do not recollect that.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
But that's really how it went. I really told you my future.
You did, like right away. Right away.
That's funny.
But I got to add, because we're sitting in here, here we are in the cockpit looking at the instrument panel, well, pretty close, a little too close. But there's something about this environment, like you really do get to know people, and we have these shared stories, and we get to kind of, sometimes they're a little different, but it kind of builds a picture. But I know Mike better than anybody. I swear I do, and I've proven it. And it's because when you go through an experience like learning to fly and you're in these close quarters and you're learning a skill, we're teaching, and it's you got to make the right decisions and do the right things and keep things safe. But this to me, your wife called me, I don't know what was going on. There was a birthday party coming up. Then maybe your 40th, 50th.
40th, the big one.
Remember that?
Yep.
And she calls me and says, Warren, I'm trying to surprise Mike, and I'm preparing some things. I don't want him to know about it. I need to know, why would she even ask me this? She goes, where are his logbooks? Where are they at? This is how well I know you. I go, literally, check the sock drawer.
No way.
Yes. Do you remember this?
I don't.
Check your wife. She calls me because I want to know what airplanes he flew. I want to kind of get the history, but I don't want to know. I go, she goes in, she looks in your sock drawer.
It was there.
Is that where you kept them?
They were at the time.
And she's like, my word.
That's crazy.
Your logbooks are in his.
That's a little creepy.
This is how much I know about you. So, yeah, you think you're interviewing me? No. This is going down.
This is going down great. This is going to be great.
No,
I'll tell you what, folks,
amazing.
you got a lot. Stand by.
We got to get out of this airplane.
We got to get out of this airplane. This plexiglass is burning me up.
It's heating up.
All right, we will see you in a little bit, folks. Bye-bye. We are back. We are finally inside. It's 72 degrees.
This is way better.
And
there's more space.
And
we need a little space.
Yeah. We'll get into the time that Warren hit me in the back with a racquetball racket and scarred me for life. I still itch on my back because of that. Anyway, I want to go over a bio. You first soloed in 1983. You became a CFI in Arizona, teaching aerobatics and crop dusting. You then became a full-time aerial application pilot. Sprayed weeds. Then a flight instructor in Illinois, hence where you met me. Then a charter pilot And one little detail about charter pilot, he brought my sick grandma back from Mayo Clinic in a Falcon 10. Corporate pilot, director of operations, chief pilot, charter pilot, FAA designated examiner, airline pilot, and FAA safety inspector, which we'll dig into that to kind of talk about that. Anyway, rapid fire. 30 seconds to answer each one of these. Total flight time.
I just hit you with it? I just go...
You tell me now. What's your total flight time?
About 11,000 hours.
Okay.
That's a beginner.
Pilot ratings / type ratings.
Well, ATP.
Okay.
And of course, flight instructor, instrument, multi-engine instructor, all the instructor ratings. Type ratings. Saberliner, my favorite.
That's one of my favorites too.
Saberliner.
You flew which one?
60, the real Saber. Turbojet.
That's true.
Turbo fan. Yeah.
That's true. True statement.
Saberliner, Falcon, all the Falcon series like Falcon 10, Falcon 20, Falcon 50, CRJ.
Falcon 900.
700, 900, Falcon, which is, Falcon 900.
Yep.
Yeah.
CRJ?
So I was a corporate guy, CRJ, 700, 900. Did a little airline flying. But I was mainly a corporate charter guy.
Okay.
Corporate,
First airport you soloed from?
Little airport, beautiful. Mount Holly Airport. It sounds like majestic, doesn't it? Mount Holly Airport. Just a little uncontrolled field, little runway.
Where?
Near Peoria, Illinois.
Oh, okay. So this was in Illinois.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hardest airplane to fly?
I can't explain. I just have to say it.
Yep. We'll explain it later.
Okay. This will sound
Probably
weird.
150 for
a
you.
Cessna 152 converted to a tailwheel aircraft.
Wow. Okay.
Can I explain these later?
No, later. Easiest to fly.
I feel like we're going to leave it there.
Nope.
And it's going to be like...
No, yeah. We won't talk about it.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They'll always know Warren is high. The dude said the hardest airplane to fly was a 150. Wow. No wonder he works for the FAA.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Easiest
we're
to
coming
fly.
back to that. I'm making a note. All right.
Easiest to fly.
Easiest. Saberliner 60.
Man, I'm not going to lie.
Dude,
that's
that
pretty
thing,
good.
you could
Saberliners.
not make a bad landing.
Rock solid.
All right.
A rock solid airplane. Hardest systems on an airplane to ever learn.
I think I would say the Falcon jets were kind of... I also say, all right, Falcon 10.
Falcon 10.
Flight control system, because it's from like the Mirage fighter.
All right, we'll get into that.
All
All right.
See, I want to explain it all.
I know. Scariest moment on a plane.
Which one?
Scariest.
Like moment? Just like a moment?
Well, something that you went through or whatever. Just what is the first thing that comes to your head?
I would say the moment, and I was in the right seat, I was not in the left seat.
Part of the crew.
Is just about going off the end of a runway in a jet.
Dang, I can't wait to hear about that. A good moment in an airplane that you'll never forget, besides flying with me.
Did you say terrifying moment?
No.
Now, I would say like the first time I crossed the North Atlantic, and it just happened to be incredible Northern Lights.
Okay.
I'm sure you've seen it, like the
I've seen
largest.
Probably very, very good. I've seen it once. I've seen it before, but very good at the way you kind of are talking about
And
it.
that was my first crossing, was that.
Wow.
On that. So yeah.
What were you in?
I
Falcon?
think it's probably in a Falcon 900.
Okay. All right, here's a good one. Dumbest thing you've ever done in an airplane.
Fly with you, see? Now it's coming around.
All right, that being said.
Dumbest.
Second dumbest thing.
Dumbest. Can I come back to that?
Nope.
I don't know. Dumbest.
Come on, man.
Dumbest thing
I
I've
just
ever
tell
done.
everybody something you've done dumb. It has to be so many.
I'll just say, like, I would be more like, are we doing dangerous thing?
I like something that you just, It maybe turned into the most dangerous because you did something dumb.
Yeah. Okay. I'll say, yeah, I was, I've had like a near, yeah, I'll call it the dumbest thing. I was in a crop duster.
That alone. Okay.
And yeah, just.
We'll get into the story.
Kind of pulled up over some power lines.
Is that the closest to death? That's the next?
No, it probably could have been catastrophic.
Okay, what's the closest to death?
This would be a night circling approach in a barren where I got a lot of ice and then I had to circle to land. And
okay, we'll get into that.
Okay, see,
dream airplane to fly.
I don't know. See, like that I have never flown yet?
Correct.
I don't know. I don't know if I have. I haven't been, like, that's never been my thing, like
for me, it would probably be
plane to fly.
To experience the Concorde.
Okay, I can
It's an
see where
airliner
you're
and
going
it's
there.
a Mach 2 airplane. F-22 probably would be way, way close to that. But if
Yeah.
I had to pick,
Like
and
I could
it's
just fly
gone,
it. Yeah.
maybe just
You know, it'd be
what
fun
that
to
was
fly
like.
like Fifi, you know, B-29.
That's
you know,
cool
some
too.
Of that stuff. Only two
See,
of
that's the
them
thing.
left.
When you're an aviation nut,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to make those decisions.
Yeah, I like flying airplanes.
Here's a good one. Biggest aviation regret.
This comes back to you again, probably. No, that's not true. That's not true. You know what? This will be a little outside the box, but I wish I would have got my mechanics certificate when I was
Okay.
like young and learning and could have just done it, knocked it out and have it. And that way, because when you own airplanes and things to work on
That is a good answer.
Okay, I'm explaining again.
You will later.
right.
Okay, pilot watch of choice.
I don't know. I have to go with what I'm wearing.
Which is?
The Garmin D2, because it connects to all my avionics and stuff. I just get an airplane and it's connected to the
Get
panel.
out.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it gives you everything, and I can just put in sometimes I'll just have it sitting on nearest airport or something, so it's just right there. I don't know. And then it does everything it does, biking, swimming, running, anything.
Which we'll get into that as well.
What do you
Mr.
got?
Ironman, I've got a Garmin Enduro 3.
Oh, the Garmin too.
And the reason I have this is because my Apple Watch would lose battery power before the end of the day.
The batteries on these things.
And so I said,
insane.
I'm not messing with this anymore. This is making me crazy.
Yeah.
This has got a 33-day battery,
Yep.
and it has a solar ring.
Oh, I know. Wow.
So, if I get stuck in the desert with you, I'll never lose out of power.
Well, that's yeah. We could talk about that later.
Exactly. All right.
I think we might have exceeded 30 seconds.
When and where did you get bit by the aviation bug?
This is true. Kindergarten. I can remember it to this day, sitting in kindergarten. And it was a special day because back in the day, because I'm getting kind of old,
You are.
we had a movie day. And that was a big deal in kindergarten.
Yeah.
And the movie was all about airplane and flying an airplane. And I thought it was cool because, and they were showing, kind of like we were out in the cockpit, they were showing the yoke, and it's like, hey, you turn left, airplane goes left, turn right, goes right. Pull back, it goes up. And I don't know why, that was just because I love machines and stuff, and I was like, that's cool. I always wanted to drive a car, but to be able to pull back and go up,
Was a whole nother thing.
this is what I have to do.
Really?
Yes.
Now, I know your uncle flew, right? Was it your uncle?
Well,
When you were in kindergarten, did you know any pilots?
not really.
So you didn't really know any.
Not
So this
really.
was your own.
But there's more to the story. Can I go on? Or?
Of course.
Okay, we're out
past
of
the 30 seconds.
I thought.
No.
I thought we were still within the limitation.
You are. Yeah.
Stay within.
This is good.
Stay within the envelope. That's important for aviation.
No. Your envelope is full aerobatic right now. You're
Oh,
full. You can do it all.
Well, so because there's more to the story of that. Yeah, I didn't really know a lot, but I grew up on a farm, and I was always around farm equipment, like lawnmower. I mean, anything I could get on and drive, a machine that had an engine. I loved it.
I get it.
I loved it. Loved
get it.
But growing up on the farm, and it was a sequoia, and they have to come in and do pollination. And back in the day, again, they don't do this anymore, but they had to bring a helicopter in, and they would just fly over the fields to pollinate the fields. And so this helicopter would come and land at the farm, and it would just sit there. And so every evening I'm over studying this thing. And it was like, this is the ultimate machine.
Is this kindergarten?
No, this is probably, I'm in grade school now.
Okay.
And I mean, I would ride my bike over there and like, but the best part is, and this is what really did it, when they were done at the end of the week, they would give rides.
No way.
Every year they come back, and so then and it was like an old Bell 47 with the bubble canopy, you know.
So you got rides in this multiple times as a kid?
Yes. And
That's crazy.
but it was interesting because I never really have been a huge fan of helicopters, but just that aviation and then to fly and the stick and you go up and three-dimensional, like that was like, I gotta fly. So I was just always wanting to fly, but it was really a love of machines and like, this is the ultimate machine. Like,
Wow.
that's what did it for me.
So that was when you got bit.
And then-
from that movie, would you say you knew I want to do that?
Oh, I was just absolutely like, that's like, to be able to do that, to just poop, poop up.
That was it.
I was done. Like I
Were
was
you
gonna
a kid
fly.
that would like ask your parents, will you take me to the airport?
Oh yeah, we would go because we had a little local airport, and my dad and I would go down, and it was like there was some training going on. So we would sit out, walk up to the fence, you know, and look in and watch the touch and goes. And we would laugh because they would bounce and squeal, and it was just great entertainment.
Do you remember seeing, because you know, you grew up in Illinois, do you remember going to air shows as a little kid? And
Not
seeing,
really little. I didn't do that till later on. And, you know, I'm not a huge air show fan, which is odd too. I mean, I went and it was great. The guy I remember, I don't know if anybody knows his name, Art Scholl, and he flew the Chipmunk, and he had like a dog with him that would ride in the air show, and he would do these hammerhead stalls, and he died filming Top Gun.
Yeah, doing that scene where they're doing the flat spin, right?
Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
And he was the guy that I was like, he could fly that underpowered, simple airplane so precisely, and that really garnered my attention. But I think him honestly getting killed it kind of turned me off a little bit from the air show scene.
Wow.
Even to this day, I'm like, okay, air show, that's great. I like the military planes, but I don't go to a lot of air shows.
Yeah, interesting.
Kind of weird.
Super interesting.
But that's how I got. And then so in high school, I got to the point where I'm like, oh man, they're giving I saw this ad, like they're giving lessons down at the local airport where my dad and I used to go and watch the planes. I go, can I go down there? And they're like, sure.
Was that Mount Holly?
No, this
Okay.
was Logan County Airport, you know, another just little tiny airport. But back in those days, every airport had a flight school and a little airplane you could rent and an instructor around. You know, that's not the case anymore, but...
So do you remember when you started taking lessons how much it was per hour wet?
Yeah. I don't remember exactly, but I remember the airplane was something like $20, $24 an hour.
Golly.
Like that. And
I do remember in 85,
Yeah.
it was $36 an hour for
so
150.
that's probably about right. For me.
And a 172 was $48 an hour wet. And I don't know how much I paid you, probably $10 an hour as an instructor.
Did you pay me?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I probably tried to get out
I tried
of
to
it.
get every ounce I could.
Okay, did you have... So hold on one sec. Was the helicopter ride the first airplane slash
that I went up in.
vehicle? So the helicopter
The
was first
helicopter.
before any fixed
Can you
wing.
imagine like a kid
No.
and he's flying real low over the fields and
That would have sucked me
What
in
an opportunity.
unbelievably
yeah.
because they're spraying weeds. That's crazy. Or pollinating.
But you call this aviation bug. I mean, it literally is something that gets like most aviation people. They caught the bug. I mean, it's kind of a good name.
You can't get rid of it. It's just something that
It gets in your blood.
yeah, it's true.
But I went and anyway, so yeah, I went to I took a introductory flight lesson and kept going. So There's a whole story about that, but we'll continue on.
When you started your lessons, did you have any long-term goals? Did you say, I want to be blank, I want to fly this?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
was this a career decision?
My whole thing was, I'm going to be a crop duster. Because
Really?
you showed up that first day, like, I go, hey, what's up? My name's Mike, and I'm going to be an airline pilot. All right, easy, dude, easy. But, I was kind of really the same way. My name's Warren. I'm going to be a crop duster,
And
But
it
that-
totally came out of the helicopter
That
experience.
comes out of growing up on a farm.
That's true.
I was a farm kid. I was walking the beans. I was spraying the weeds. I was driving the tractors. I was, so I've got a strong farming background family. And, this makes perfect sense. Farming from the sky. Like,
Yeah, it's
I'd
pretty
rather be doing
interesting.
that.
It's interesting you say that because when I met you, I didn't know much about aviation, but I didn't think that I would be learning from like a guy who was so young and he'd already been a crop duster. Like, how'd you do that? I'd seen some crop dusting growing up in the same area as you, but I didn't think there'd be a 20-year-old that had already done it. So that was kind of interesting to me. That was very interesting.
That is
So
what's cool about aviation, though. There's so many pathways, and it's just massive, and ways to get in. But I grew up, the crop dusters were just a thing. They were always buzzing around. So not only did I fly in that helicopter, but I would see the airplanes come in. And again, I was like,
So
wow.
your goal was to be a crop duster.
That was it, man.
You got your ratings and you started in on the crop dusting.
Well, and also in high school, I got the best job. Like, I'm 16 years old, just had my license, and I went to work for a fertilizer company that had a crop dusting plane. And I was like the fuel boy. I loaded the plane. I flagged for the plane. And so now I'm immersed, like I'm around this airplane. And I literally, of course, this starts really early in the morning. So I'm there at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And they have to start this is the best thing ever, dude. Radial engine. And they got to start it up. And the sound of a radial engine, I would stand behind it and smell that. There's a smell.
Oh, yeah.
There's a smell of 100 low lead aviation fuel being burned by a radial engine at 4:30 in the morning, dude. Like, you're at war.
It took you deeper.
You're back.
Took you deeper into it.
And the pilot was so cool. And I'm sure we'll talk about this, like mentors that you have and stuff. This guy, he goes, oh yeah, he's got the bug. He's got it. And so he would explain things to me.
Wow.
He would kind of pull me off the side to do it. But then I got where I was directing the airplane, because no GPS, nothing. So the planes, I would have to drive like a maniac to the field, get there, scout it out, make sure there's not any power lines, dangerous, that sort of thing. I got a two-way radio. I would call the plane in, and then he would do it. And then as he starts, I would kind of get him, flag him off, probably getting sprayed the whole time, which probably explains
a lot
my mental condition. But and then race off so for a 16-year-old kid, I'm around airplanes. This pilot guy's like kind of taking me on his wing. I'm driving like a maniac, and they just give me a truck, and they're like, just drive as fast as you can, go to the next field. I got a two-way radio, like.
Where was this?
This is in like
Illinois.
Yeah.
Get out.
Oh, it was the best summer. And so then I saw that, I just need to get this going. And I remember walking in, they had like an office right there, because it was a grass strip. They had a grass strip, and they had this office there. And inside the office, they had these aviation maps. And if you've ever looked at these, they're just weird. It's like, what are these lines? So I remember just looking at that going, what is all this stuff? Well, it's airspace, and it's all the aviation stuff. And I was just like, I got to learn all this, And so I would ask him questions like, what's this? Oh, that's airspace around the airport or whatever.
Was he your first mentor?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
And he was a full-on 100% ag pilot?
Yeah. So this is my hero, man. This is
how old was
who
he?
I want to be.
What'd you say?
His name was Jim Tennell, and I would say he was probably 50.
Oh, okay.
About 50
So he
at
was
the
a
time.
seasoned ag guy.
Oh, his whole career, yeah. And he was like he kind of had that, you talked about the pilot swagger or whatever. He was just like so calm, just methodical, you know.
See, that's the one thing that, like, if someone says, what are your first memories of you? And when I talk to current pilots who are starting their aviation career, and some of them love their instructors and some of them don't like their instructors, and some of them have stopped flying because they had such a horrible experience in the beginning with their instructors.
Hey, I had one.
You were completely chilled out, laid back, nothing, which is probably your personality
Yes,
anyway.
that
But
was-
when you see that modeled for you
Yes.
in the very first most,
Yeah.
you know, you're in a position that very first time, who do I want to be? What are you supposed to act like as a pilot? And you see this laid back, cool, calm, collected dude. So coupled with your personality, when you walked up, I said earlier in that little intro, it's like, oh, here comes Jaeger.
That's funny.
Coming up, chilled out,
That's
laid
funny.
back.
I'm sure I was wearing like the aviator and had my leather.
If you ever
yeah.
yelled at me, I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Because I
usually don't, yeah.
completely enjoy, that's probably why we're friends to this day. I enjoyed the process, completely enjoyed the process. And that's probably one of the funnest things in aviation is to enjoy the process, because you do have to do a lot of learning. There's a lot of failing. I don't understand.
humiliating.
I don't understand how to fly this NDB arc. I don't understand how to hold. It's windy out. Like, what's this tail? Blah, blah, blah. Things that NDBs are a thing of the past for the, you know, current aviators. But that was probably the most difficult thing to learn. And to have an instructor that is laid back, chilled out,
Yeah.
is such an attribute. So for you people out there that don't like your instructors because they're yellers, just find another
Oh, my
one.
goodness.
Find another one. Don't let them end your aviation career. Not cool.
Yeah, I did have one terrible instructor. We can talk about that later, but you're right. That was modeled for me. Yeah. And I wanted to emulate that.
Well,
because,
let's talk about the instructor right now.
Instructors are so, and I think you brought up a good point. It's almost like a theme of this, I think, because it is the process. I mean, it's really challenging.
Oh, yeah.
But it's very high reward. And it's so, again, we were sitting in the cockpit, it's so kind of intimate and personal. Like, you get to know this person really well over, what did we say, 3 years?
It was 85 to 88.
At that young age, like, that just kind of, there's a bond, you know, it's just.
For sure.
And there's a bond that not just in aviation, of aviation people, because they understand and they've been through this process. And, but so here I am, I'm working this summer job and I'm making money so I can go take flight lessons.
Okay.
And I had a really good instructor. Guy was an airline pilot, but he only lasted maybe 3 or 4 lessons, and then he got a job somewhere, you know, had to go. So I got the second instructor.
Okay.
And it was maybe the first or second lesson I had with him. Here's what he says. I need to track this guy down because
Now that you work for the FAA.
it's kind of bringing up some anger in me right now. But I was a kid working hard and
Right.
doing this, graving this money to take flight lessons. And he goes, hey, dude, you know, I'm a little strapped. Like, would you mind just going ahead and paying me for like the next 3 lessons? And I'm like, okay.
And you're how old?
16, 17, you know?
Oh my gosh.
And like, okay, because I had some cash and I gave it to him. Never saw that guy again.
Are you kidding me?
Never saw him again. And I was just like, the guy just stole from.
So this was your money. This wasn't your parents'
my money that I was earning. Yes, to go. My dream of flying. Yes.
So
Yeah.
to circle back a little bit, when you got your ratings and you got enough to go be an ag pilot, how did you get into that world? Was it in Illinois?
Oh no. This is why I went to Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah.
To get the job.
No, to get the training.
Oh, to get the ag training. So you had to get some ratings first?
Yeah, I'm a private pilot. So I got my private pilot in Illinois.
Okay.
And, you know, I'm wrapping up high school. I'm looking at where am I going to go to college? What am I going to do? All this stuff. And I'm like, well, I want to be a crop duster. Well, there's some schools, not very many at that time, one of them, which was in Arizona, that teaches how to be a crop duster. You know, the skills. But they're also a pilot school, so I could get my commercial, my instrument, my flight instructor, and I can take this course to become a crop duster. And you fly each of they had a Stearman, they had an AgCat, some of these crop duster type airplanes, Cessna crop duster, a Piper. So you could get experience in each one of these, and they prepare you for a job market and help you find a job.
Oh, so it's not necessarily with them, but they help you find a job.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it hard to get a job when you just come out fresh? You know how companies say, well, you need some experience. Well, how am I supposed to get experience if I am brand spanking new?
Yeah, and that, I guess the answer to that is like it depends, because as you know, there are times in aviation, and this is over the whole history of aviation, where if you hit it just right, I don't care what you got, they're going to hire you in a second.
And then on the other end,
because they got nobody. And then there's the other times, which was my time.
Oh, really?
Which nobody's hiring anybody for anything. And back then, crop dusting wasn't like it is now. Well, now they use a lot of turbine aircraft. It was piston-powered aircraft, radial engines, you know, wartime vintage stuff. Some of it converted. And it was really cyclical. Like if you had a bug season, like I remember there was a year of spider mites that just invaded. And
then they were super busy.
Boom, you hit that, boom, you're just floating in cash. But I had it wrong. They're just not spraying.
So what'd you do?
So I went out there and I got all my ratings. So it was called Lehman Aviation. It was in Casa Grande, Arizona.
Oh, wow.
Again, it was like a Top Gun experience. We're at the base. We're flying every day. And we're young, and the instructors are young, and they're awesome, and they're all into it.
Are guys there from all over the country?
Everywhere, all over the world.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Coming in.
They would come in.
It was an ag school.
It was an ag school, but it was also a flight school.
A rating school as well.
So some would come just for ratings, but many came for the crop dust. So I had great mentors again. Just awesome people. I lived in a trailer. I lived in a mobile home trailer in a senior living complex with my instructor.
Seriously?
24 hours a day. We're just immersed and soaking up aviation. But I got all my ratings. And then you had to get your ratings, and then you would start the ag portion of the training. I did that. There weren't really any jobs. So the school hired me as an instructor, which was I think another theme throughout this whole thing is opportunities. Like in aviation especially, is like you take the opportunities that are present.
Yeah.
When there's an opportunity, you just jump on it.
Yeah.
And I think my whole career, like you listed off all that stuff, those were just different opportunities at different times that I just followed.
And you just jumped them.
You just follow it. And so what I got to start doing, I got to start instructing, which was amazing. Like that's when you really learn.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's when when you have to teach it. But I got to start teaching crop dusting. So I got to teach like people how to fly tailwheel aircraft. I got to fly the Stearman. I got to check them out in agricultural aircraft. But I also got to do private commercial instrument training. And in Arizona, the reason you go to Arizona, because it's beautiful flying weather every day. Like I never saw a cloud. I got my instrument rating. I'd never been in a cloud.
Wow.
Yeah, so I just went through all of that. But that's where I flew the Cessna. I got to come back to this because you're going to move beyond it.
Let's do it.
The Cessna 152 converted to a tail dragger. It's called a Texas tail dragger.
The hardest airplane to fly.
This thing was insanity because it wasn't really designed to be a tail dragger. So it has kind of a smaller rudder. A tailwheel aircraft has a giant rudder because you got to keep it straight.
So 150, they never had a tail dragger. It was a 170 or a 140.
Right, yeah. You don't have a 152 tail wheel.
Okay.
That would be stupid.
And why did they convert it to that?
I have no idea. But it was it was a cool airplane because it was an acrobatic 152. So you could, they called it an aerobat. So you could do it was certified for aerobatics. So that was fun. But they just took the main wheels, which in a 152 are super springy, which is good for hard landings and things. And they moved them forward and then just took the nose wheel off and put a tail wheel on the back. That thing was a tiger.
Really?
A tiger. It would bounce. And now you're teaching, but it was a great, because if you could fly that thing, like you're ready for the Stearman.
So just the ground portion was obviously the only time that was difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Totally different than other tail draggers you've flown?
Oh, way harder.
Really?
Ridiculous.
Do you think it was because you were so little timed?
No, it
Not
was
at
just
all.
hard. Because it's just not designed to be a tail wheel. It's too springy. The rudder's too small. You're out of control.
Really?
So, but to teach someone, number one,
It
to
sounds
learn,
completely dangerous.
it is just stupid. Like, when's the last time you saw a tail wheel 152?
I don't.
No one
I've
would ever do this again. This is dumb.
Was it an experimental?
No, it was a SDC, like full on.
Really?
Yeah. But I tell you what, to learn in that, but then to teach. Now you got to keep this other guy from ground looping this thing, which it did eventually get ground looped several times. But I never did. I never ground looped it. And that made me a pilot.
Really?
A pilot. Yeah, no question. Like just that teaching people how to land a tail wheel, which is challenging to begin with. But in that aircraft,
So you had to anticipate.
far more difficult than any jet, anything.
No kidding.
anything.
So interesting.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got that off your chest.
Thank you.
It feels like you've
and
been-
that flight instructor guy. I'm going to let that go. I just got to
feel
let
like
it. I feel like we're making
Your
progress.
blood pressure
here.
just went down. It's like kind of a counseling session in a
It really
sense.
is. I see what's happening. I really needed this. I needed it.
I love it. I love it. Okay. When you told your parents, I want to fly,
Yeah.
was there any pushback
Zero.
at all?
No.
If you're going to do it well.
Maybe they didn't like me.
But literally nothing. Like that's what you want to
They're
do.
like,
It's
that
all
sounds
good.
like a great idea. Get on down there and do it. Yeah. No, that was always like that. Absolutely.
And so because had there been a lot of ag work when you finished your ratings, do you think you would have stayed in that field?
Oh, that was my dream. Absolutely.
And so that's really what took you out of it was the lack of work.
Yeah.
And so you became a normal flight instructor.
Well-
What made you move from Arizona then?
Well, because I did go do that. There was some jobs that finally came open.
Okay.
And so like I went to Iowa and I sprayed in Iowa. I did the crop dusting thing. And, but kind of what I found out what was available was like the bottom of the barrel jobs. Like I'm all excited. I go there. I'm setting up. I got the plane. I'm ready to go to work. Well, these guys are just a bunch of potheads.
Are you serious?
And
That own the company?
yeah, like they were just smoking weed all the time.
Are you kidding
And I go,
me?
I just can't be here.
Really?
I walked away from that job. Yeah, for
Get
that reason.
out of town.
Yeah, and so I went to another place, which was better. Had a beautiful airplane. He was actually an old airline captain that had retired, and was spraying. He's probably in his 70s, and he's like, I gotta stop doing this. And so I actually went and sprayed for a season for him, and that was a really good experience. Great airplane, a Cessna ag truck,
Okay.
and
With a
beautiful airplane.
radial engine?
No, this was just a Cessna with a Lycoming, I think maybe Continental engine.
Okay.
And the coolest part was the runway had a power line at the end of it. And so you took off and you just flew under the power line. That was your normal takeoff.
Seriously?
Yes. Yeah.
Are you talking like 20, 30 feet up? Is this power line? And
I don't know what the height was, but
you're on the
deck.
ground.
You're on the deck.
deck.
And that tail sticks up quite a bit. I don't know, when you're up on the mains and up a little bit, that tail's, I don't know. But you would just, and the first time he did it, he goes, just follow me. And he was in another airplane and he took off, and I basically took off behind him almost like formation. And he was like, yeah, just fly. Don't try to go over him because you'll stall out. You're too heavy.
You've got to go
Just follow
underneath
me
them.
so you can see it. And I followed him right under the power lines, and then that's what I did. The rest of the just every takeoff that summer was underneath the power lines.
Get out.
But I was telling you about that, like, what would you ask me a question with the 30 seconds about like the time like I almost died or something in an airplane. That was at that location. It was at that operator because.
Well, just tell me the story.
Let's do it. I had taken off and ferried out to the field, which was pretty close, and it was hot. Density altitude, you got to learn this as a pilot. It's a killer. I was super heavy.
Okay.
And I came up to the end of the field, and I had been spraying. And as the day goes on, it gets hotter and hotter and hotter.
Yeah. And
so I'd pulled up over some mountain. Well, this time when I pulled up, I pulled too hard. And if you've been in an airplane, and thank God for Cessna and the way they designed the airplane. It's because some airplanes don't give you a lot of warning before they stall. And if you don't know what a stall is, it's aerodynamic. It has nothing to do with the engine. The engine is producing full power, but it's the airflow over the wings. If you pull up too quick, it'll disrupt your lift. And you can't stall. It's called a wing stall. If you can't stall 10, 20 feet off the ground, right? I mean, you're done.
Right.
But fortunately, as I pulled, this thing just bucked and kicked.
Gave you the warning.
It's a design feature in the airplane that'll warn you, like, I'm going to stall. And it bucked and kicked and but I got over those power lines and was able to fly out of that. But that probably should have been the end of me right there. I should have probably stalled, and it would have just gone right into the ground.
And so when you pulled back and it's giving you all this feedback and you unload it, you were fortunately above the power lines.
Yes.
Because had they not been, you have nowhere to go. Wow.
Cessna saved that. The engineers saved
the design.
my butt. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But that taught me, like, and unfortunately, this is how you kind of have to learn in aviation, because I've been taught. I taught you, like, you can't do this. But
You can't do
until
this.
you do it, and then you're like, oh, I can't do that. Like, so you learn about density altitude.
Here's learning in the books and then learning in real life.
Right.
I mean, I think it's by the grace of God that most pilots are even here.
Yeah.
Guys I fly with in the military,
Yeah.
they have so many stories, civilian guys,
Yeah.
so many stories of, I could have died here, I could have died there, and it could have been their mistake, it could have been someone else's mistake that they happened to be involved in, but nonetheless, it is like a miracle that by the time you get to the professional level, you've learned so much over that time that experience really, really means a lot. I mean, it really does. And it's just that lifelong experience. It's that those mistakes, whether they're small or big, like what you're talking about, they just add up to create who you are today. It's pretty wild.
I think you asked another question. I was trying to figure out an answer. It was like, what's the dumbest thing you've ever done on an airplane like that? I just remembered what it is. And it's that stupid Cessna 152 tail wheel.
What is it?
I landed so hard, probably maybe bounced or something, but landed so hard, both doors popped open from the landing. I was with a student. The doors flew open on landing.
What the heck did you do? Did you end up landing or going around?
We landed. I don't know how, because I thought the aircraft's damaged. We hit so hard.
So was that dumb from a mistake?
Here's why it was dumb.
Okay,
and here's what I learned. And this is for the instructor side of things. And, like you say, like when I came to you, like I met you on that faithful day. And you said, well, you only been an instructor for a couple of years, but even a couple of years experience as an instructor is amazing. When you start instructing, you're so on top, like you won't let this student make a mistake.
Right.
You just, I got it. You just take the control, give it to me. Like, well, you can't do that. So
you didn't do that with me.
Yeah,
that's what I appreciated about the way you taught.
Because of this scenario right here.
Seriously?
Because of this. But so it's like a funnel, like it's almost inverted funnel. Like when you start out, you're grabbing, here, I got it. You're like, well, they can't learn. And so after time, you have to learn, I got to step back. I got to let them make mistakes. But then you go too far the other way. Like I was sitting out in the airplane and, I'm back. I got my door open, Now you get too...
lackadaisical.
Yeah, and this is what happened. I was just letting it go, and I let it go too far. And this guy just like stalled it in. Well, once you're in too far, you can't...
Now
you're not coming out of it.
Right.
And we're hitting, and we hit it. And I just by the grace of God, by some Cessna, and I guess whoever modified the landing gear and put it up front stuff, it was strong enough. It just absorbed it. But the doors flew open, dude.
I bet that thing went free.
And I said, I gotta pay a little more attention. Like I just learned the line that you don't cross. Like
that one event taught you the line.
Yeah, you can come up, you can kind of get close, and you have to.
One thing I
But you can't
appreciated
cross it.
about you and your instructing techniques was exactly what you just described. If I think back, you let me fail.
Yeah.
But obviously, I didn't know the story, but you didn't let me go too far.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I have seen in my career as an instructor, because whether you like it or not, you judge other instructors when you see them teach.
Absolutely.
And the guys who jump in too quickly, you take away that ability for the student to learn. Because until they fail, and obviously you can't let them go too far or that happens, but you have to let them fail and think and let it go those seconds that you need to let their slow processing take place, because that's how they're gonna learn. And I've never appreciated when people step in too fast and I observe, because it's like, let the dude
yes.
figure it out.
It's the number one
And that's
mistake.
what you did, was let me. Do you feel that way too? I mean,
I
it's
had
a
to- I had to
mistake
learn
from an
that.
instructor standpoint.
And every instructor goes through it. So it's so hard as you're learning to fly. You're kind of at the mercy of your instructor and who you get, because you don't know.
You're totally at the mercy.
You don't
You have
know
no
if this
idea.
is a good. And you think they're the ultimate. They're the best. And
Because they know more than you. That's
yeah.
it.
And you're like, okay, well, they know what they're doing. Not necessarily, but don't be afraid to try some other instructors as you go through. And it can be touchy because it's personal. But you don't want, what everybody does is they look for the most experienced pilot. And that's what I want. You want the guy who can teach, who may not be the most experienced guy
There's an art to it.
or gal. You want a teacher. You want someone that can demonstrate to you a skill. You don't want necessarily an astronaut
No.
teaching you.
No, and I've seen it. I've
Yeah.
absolutely seen it. The ace of the base, and they're not good instructors, in my view, because of what we just described, is let this guy fail, let him figure it out. Don't jump in too quick and save them, or they are not going to learn what they need to learn. It's going to be a rote monkey instead of a thinker, and they have to be able to think, because you develop that essay and that chess playing. If this, then that. If that, then this. And it goes down the line. That's what aviation is. In instructing and teaching and learning is like, well, if I make this decision, then this is going to result. And if this results, what will happen here? That's constantly what it is, right? I mean, it really
And aren't you
is.
seeing there? You're sitting there, because what you turn into is you look, and you're doing this, as an instructor at the airline. You're all chill. You look like you just having a great day, but you are tuned in.
You're tuned in big time.
And you are watching this whole thing unfold.
You have so much going on in your mind, even though you're sitting back,
Yep, here it goes. All
and
right.
you pretty much know what errors are going to happen.
And I'm going to let it go this far.
Yep.
And hopefully they're going to catch it.
Yeah. Fortunately, in a simulator,
Oh,
unlike
well,
a real
that's whole
airplane,
nother world,
you have
yeah.
to pull back a little bit on a real airplane, obviously. But a simulator's nice, and that's what's great about simulator training is you can let them fail a little bit further, and it's okay, right?
Yeah.
That's funny. All right, so
Yep.
let's move on to mentors. You talked about your very first guy. You talked about your second instructor. He didn't last
Still
long
mad
because he
about
got
it.
your money.
I'm trying to let it go.
What about
Did
your
we-
third one? Who finished you off?
Oh, man.
Or how many guys did
See?
finish you off?
Then for
Because I mean, you were my
private-
only dude. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, I went from you to an instructor at Embry-Riddle that had a reputation that was a monster. And I remember thinking, because at
Every
this
school
point
has
I
one.
probably had 350 hours in all my ratings except I had to take a flying course at Riddle. I took my MEI. And this guy was a legend in a bad way, and he gave it to me, and I could not even believe it because for the last 3 years I'd been used to your style. This guy was on a whole nother level. And so tell me about post the Steeler. What was your
Steeler,
instructor?
Man. Oh, that's a great name. That's what I'm going to refer to him now.
The Steeler?
Stealing from a kid, you know?
Wonder where he is now, if alive.
I'm with the FAA now. I'm going to look him up. I've got his name in my logbook.
Oh, no.
I gotta look at that. Anyway, I'm moving on. I'm letting it go.
Let it go.
I'm not going to look
Counseling
it up.
101, let it go.
I'm letting it go.
Don't live in the past.
But then because I actually started to go to, I was out of high school, the summer was over, and I was kind of like, well, my instructor, left, I got nothing, but I went to college started college over in Peoria, and I immediately went to the airport.
Okay.
Like, I want to fly. And I went to Camden Aviation, and they were just such a blessing. And I ran into a guy named Gary Gett, and that'll mean nothing to anybody, but it meant a lot to me because this guy was a military helicopter pilot.
Oh.
And same thing. This to me this is like Tom Cruise. This guy rolls in, yo man, he's flying choppers in the military. He's flying corporate aviation. Like he is the coolest dude ever. I'm like, I'm Warren. I want to be a crop duster. But he was just, he was an instructor pilot in the military, tons of experience. That dude just studied the ship and here's how we do it and just walked me right through it. What was really cool about that, and again, this is what is so awesome about aviation. Literally, I don't know how long later, maybe 10 years later, I am in Detroit in the Falcon 900, picking up some passengers. We're headed to Europe. It's probably, you leave at night. It's probably like 9, 10 o'clock at night. I'm on the ramp at Detroit Metro Airport, pull up, park, going in. Walking out is Gary Gett.
No way.
He's flying a Learjet over here. And he's like, Warren, like Gary.
Get out.
And so he goes, what are you doing? I go, I'm flying this 900, headed to Europe, And he's like, how cool is that? I go, here's my instructor.
The small world
Dude,
situation is unbelievable. That's why you can never burn bridges either.
Don't ever burn one bridge because you're going to be working for that guy.
And that's why you're probably got the suppressed
I do have suppressed
anger is because you didn't burn the bridge.
Let's just own it, right?
Right. But that is important.
You have suppressed anger. And we're going to talk about this racquetball situation later. We're going to get this solved once and for all today.
Well,
the suppressed anger that you have, my brother.
Listen. The suppressed anger I have, quite frankly, is not from that, although that was rude on your part to hit me in the back in racquetball, like you didn't see me, I was in front of you, is when I didn't even sell him. I had him take a mini bike. And the mini bike...
This is more suppressed anger.
This is...
We're on a rabbit hole.
This is a rabbit hole we're going to go down. I have a mini bike that was nicknamed Bertha.
Every time.
It was a 70cc mini bike.
Every time I see this comes up.
I said, Warren, you can have this bike. I don't know if I was in college or what the situation was. You have this bike, but when you're done with it, give it back to me. Okay, no problem. Yes. And then I come to collect the bike. I'm sorry, man, I sold it. I have better feelings for you because of that.
It was his beloved childhood memory.
The bike's probably worth $5,000 now.
Probably is.
But somebody else owns it. So you really owe me a bike. So fine, we'll go on. We won't go down the rabbit hole.
I think we've gone off track.
Yeah, we have, haven't we? We've gone off track. Where were we? We were talking about Gary Gett. You see him on the ramp.
Yeah, your instructor.
And burning bridges.
This is the guy that taught me how to fly. This is the guy.
I mean, there's something special.
There's something special about that.
If you have a good experience, there's something special about your instructor that teaches you these skills that you are going to use for lifelong. And I think that base of knowledge that you learn from your instructor, why it's so important to have a good instructor, and to recognize that it's just a gift. It's an absolute gift. Not only from a friendship standpoint, which fortunately we've remained and we clicked there, but just from the way that you teach. I mean, I teach the same way that I learned.
Yeah.
And I learned the right way, fortunately, because he learned the way he learned.
From Gary Gitt
and
some others. Yeah.
Not all are equal. Not all are equal. So if you're not enjoying your learning out there, for you new people, go find somebody else because it should be a blast. It really should. Nothing but a blast. It's not that it won't be difficult.
Thank you, yes.
But it'll be fun.
Very challenging.
It's very challenging, but it's a blast while you're doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about it.
And it's interesting to think, like every airline pilot, every corporate pilot has been through all of this.
Oh, heck yes.
You've been through the whole gamut. And so, yeah, having those mentors at different stages along the way is like, we got to share the story because, again, aviation is maybe this is probably a theme through this whole thing. Aviation is such a special community of people. So, like when we talk about mentors, I could, say some names that it wouldn't mean anything to the group, but meant a lot to me. But back in the day, what I had was books. I didn't have YouTube. I didn't have, social media, all this stuff. So many of my mentors were like, I would read in book, like Barry Schiff wrote a book called The Proficient Pilot.
Yes.
Telling all these kind of like techniques. Dude, he was a mentor to me.
Yeah. Like almost in a sense of aviation Bibles, like the place that you go for your info.
But we were just talking about this because one of my mentors was Bill Kirshner, who wrote this kind of manual that you would read about if you were becoming a commercial pilot manual or something. And it was very unique and it was funny and he had little drawings in there. So tell them your story.
So my story is I'm driving between Atlanta and Nashville.
A week ago?
2 days ago.
2 days ago, okay.
And I have to stop for about a 15-minute charge up in my electric vehicle. And it has me stop at a grocery store called the Piggly Wiggly. And it's kind of the stop between Atlanta and Nashville. I always stop at it. It always has me stop there. So I pull in, I go in, I use the restroom, plug in the car, I head out, and I have a shirt on that says A350. And there's a truck that comes up, guy rolls down the window. He says, "Hey, you fly the 350? Yeah. Oh, I used to fly for American Airlines and blah, 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 and I was based in Miami and so forth, so on." And I start chatting with this guy. Lo and behold, it was Bill Kirshner's son. What are the odds? Incredibly small. And this guy knew a fellow friend of my wife and I's because of the connection in Miami to American Airlines. And it's just such a small world. And you're an instant friend because of these things. Yeah. Like he's like, "Oh, I live right over here. You should come by." Now, Bill Kirshner's airplane is in the Dulles Museum.
Wow.
His flight jacket is in Washington, D.C. at the Air and Space Museum. I mean, this guy was a big, big deal back in the day as far as an author of aviation. And here's his son who's probably 70 years old, just because of a shirt on and a question, "Hey, you fly this?" "Yeah, who are you?" Blah, blah, blah. Crazy story. And that's aviation. And that's why you don't ever want to burn any bridges. Because you never know. You want a good reputation or to be unknown as opposed to known, because that world is tiny.
That student that you trained will be your boss or something one day or something.
100% true statement.
Yeah. It just happens way too much.
It's crazy how small the world it is. And not only that, but in a positive way. Those connections you make and the people that you come across someday may be the person you need to contact to get a job when times are lean.
Yeah, that's true.
And you say, "Hey, Warren, you got any jobs?" "No, but I was just talking to George out in Arizona and they might need a position in so-and-so. I'll make a call." And then bam,
That's how
it
it
happens
works.
like this.
That's exactly
all
how it
the
works.
time. all the time.
Opportunities.
Every pilot has a story with somebody I knew.
Yes.
When I flew that Sabreliner in college, it was because a classmate of mine left to go to the airlines. He was in the right seat of the Sabre. But the only reason he was in the right seat of the Sabre is because his dad was at a party and met the pilot that was the captain on the Sabre. So this connection, small world stuff, I slide into the right seat in college, getting to fly jets in college only because of the connections.
I've never seen anything like it. It's amazing. I literally just a month ago was contacted by a guy. I hadn't talked to him for 15, 20 years.
Wow.
And I hired him as a flight instructor at a company I was working with, hired him. He was awesome. But then he went on to the airlines. He calls me up. Hey, Warren, what's Warren Smith? And he had saw my name in a Teams meeting with somebody else and says, Warren Smith, how do you know Warren Smith? And this guy's like, oh, I was just working on him. Dude, and he calls me up and he's like, what are you doing? And now I'm going to go to work for his organization. It's in the FAA, but I'm going to go to work for his.
Because of that. That's crazy.
It happens constantly.
Telling you, it never ends. Those stories do not end. It's a fun environment. And I think when you do get that aviation bug, you realize that it keeps feeding you, right? It really does. It keeps feeding you.
It's kind of creepy.
That's
how
fun.
much stuff comes back like that. Mentors.
All right.
We got to move on.
Did you ever have anything that ever happened to you physically that almost derailed your flying? Like I got an eye injury as a kid that had it been a little bit closer, it ended up being a nothing. But had it been a little bit closer, bam, wouldn't have had an eye.
Nothing. I've never had anything ever.
Nothing like that.
Never.
How about mental? Okay, we'll move on.
I was around a lot of farm chemicals.
I think they're starting to take hold.
That is kind of frightening because when I worked the ag, when I was one of my jobs would be loading the plane so I would hook up the hose, fill the tank and the chemicals, and that would leak all over. I'd just be walking around in that stuff all day.
Dude.
I worry about that sometimes. We didn't think anything of it.
Is that nutty or what?
But maybe it helped me. It probably grew my hair. That's probably what happened.
I didn't get enough chemicals, I can tell you that.
The closest I ever came from being derailed was that CFI, that stinking CFI guy that stole my money.
That kind of put such a bad
derailed
taste
me
in
for a while.
Did it really?
Well,
I guess you didn't have any money.
My money, and I didn't have an instructor. I was kind of just until I.
How long did it take?
It was several months.
Was it really?
Because I had to basically go to college and go to another airport, but it always works out. Like then I met Gary Gett. And
yeah, I think that's the key too, is because it's an aviation bug, if you truly get bit, you don't stop. A lot of people stop and they probably weren't really bit by the bug. But if you get bit by it, you really can't stop. You might be derailed.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, I'll find a way.
Yeah.
I'll do something. It might take some time. I mean, I had a layoff that I was out of work for 6 months and I became a substitute teacher, my old high school. But I wasn't going to give up
that was the
flying. I couldn't fly. I couldn't find a flying job. And talk about the low of the low. Yeah. You go from flying Lears to a substitute teacher at the high school that you went to. Like, please, give me a break. But, you do what you do when you have to do it, right?
That was the opportunity that was available, so you took it.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Did your desire...
Here's what's funny. I bumped my phone, and it's been recording our conversation. Like, it's typing out our whole conversation here. I don't know how long that's been going on. But anyway, let's continue.
Technically challenged. If you would like what do you call those? If you'd like a transcript of this for $9.99, reach out to Warren Smith. All right. Let me ask you this, because this affected me as a kid, as far as from a decision-making standpoint. I can remember, because my goal was always to get to the airlines. I would make decisions to not speed, not roll through that stop sign. I never became a drinker. there was no way I was going to smoke. Like, I knew I had to pass physicals. I didn't want to get in trouble. Like, I did some dumb things as a kid, but I didn't do a lot of things because I'm like, I'm not going to get a record. I'm not going to mess.
Interesting.
Was there ever any decision making of like, I don't want to.
I don't think so. I think it was.
Airlines are a little bit different, you know.
I will say, aviation is. I think it did make me think about like the drinking, because I would just, nope, I'm not drinking, I'm not doing the drugs, I'm not doing it. So
did it affect you?
So it probably in that way, like aviation just kind of keeps you away from that stuff, I think in a way.
Yeah.
It really does. But
it didn't Denzel Washington.
Mine was, well, I think more different. I think because of my, back to the core, like I was, I just loved the machinery. That was it was more of an attraction, and it was more of just kind of who I was.
Yeah.
And that it didn't really
You didn't have to identify with anything else.
But now that you say those things, it definitely had an influence on me. I can remember before there was like drug testing in aviation and stuff like that. And then I was there when they introduced it. Like, okay, we're going to start. I was like, well, nobody in aviation like drinks. It was a problem.
Wow.
It was a problem.
Yeah.
But I never had, and I think it probably did. Like, I'm not touching that stuff. I don't want any trouble.
Yeah.
So it probably did more than I know.
Did you ever hear the story when I got pulled over on the way to the airport to do a lesson with you because I was racing a guy from a stoplight?
Were you on your motorcycle?
No, I was in a little car, and I was about 2 miles by the fairgrounds, and I noticed a car beside me. I'm going to race him off the line. Well, there was a cop right behind me.
I don't remember
I get pulled over.
I'm shocked. I don't remember. Yeah.
I get pulled over, and he makes me walk the line.
Wow.
I'm 17 years old.
Wow.
Probably just to scare me or whatever, because obviously it was for a night flight. So I walked the line completely embarrassed. Lights are on, the whole thing. I walk the line. He doesn't even give me a ticket or anything, and I head out and come do the lesson with you. But yeah, that was probably one of the dumb things I did that fortunately didn't give me a ticket.
I've noticed this. I don't know if you can speak to this, but, with the whole alcohol and drug thing, because what I noticed when I was an airline pilot is, you fly your trip or whatever, it's an evening, meet you in the bar, kind of thing. And I would see guys like and I've told even my kids about this, like, just be careful with this, because you start doing that, and then 10 years, 15 years, meet you in the bar. And next thing you know, you are an alcoholic. Do you see this? Like, is that still, like, that was a culture back?
I think, obviously.
And guys would get caught up, and next thing you know,
It's a culture, I think, for people to meet up. Now, flying international, you're coming in the morning, you're not meeting at the bar like maybe the end of a day of a domestic flight or whatever. And so prior to going out to dinner, people may meet up in the bar. There is not the drinking mentality that there was, I would say, when I first started as an airline pilot. That has decreased. I think people are way more health conscious today than they were in the past.
Yes.
And so there's just less drinking. There might be a social drink or two, but not a hammering that I think was more prevalent in 60s, 70s, 80s, early 90s, that was probably a thing, not to mention to the fact that there is drug testing now, which encompasses, alcohol. There is, obviously, every once in a while you read something in, that there's a incident, and so that kind of perks people. And so people probably just don't do it now.
Right.
That's good. It's not as prevalent as I think as a whole as it used to be. And I think there's a health conscious aspect to it as well.
Yeah.
I really do.
I would see that, and I could see how pilots could get caught up in that. But I think you're right. It's just more visible, and I to this day, I really don't drink any. I just don't want any problems. The
other thing is the efficiency of the airlines now, especially for domestic flying. you don't have long layovers
No.
like you used to have. You used to have 18 to 24-hour layovers, and now, like, the efficiency of these computer programs are, what's the minimum time required by the FARs? That's your layover time. There is no
There's
time,
no time.
to do that.
That's
There's no
good.
lag time, and I think that also has played a factor in it as well. So,
Yep. But no, I didn't have any derailing things. Who knows?
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. You became a flight instructor. You soloed in 83. I soloed in 85. Started July 2nd of 85 with you. What do you think, how many hours did you have when you started instructing me?
Yeah, honestly, I bet I had close to 1,000 hours.
So you had been flying quite a bit for that previous 2 years.
Well, it was even probably, because, that's when I soloed in 83, but I started before then, and I was flying. So,
Okay, I got you.
yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, maybe not quite 1,000, but I bet I was pushing the door on maybe 1,000 hours.
Now, when you moved from instructing, you started to do charter work in like Barons and stuff.
Yeah.
That was your first foray into charter work.
Yep. That's you got to work your way up, right? So I was flying single engine and flight instructing, and then, now you're going to fly maybe a little faster, more complex airplane. Reminds me of a story too. I was in a Comanche Piper. So this is you're moving up. This is a retractable gear, more complex system. So I do one of my very first charter flights to Powauke Airport.
I know it.
Up by Chicago, right on the doorstep of O'Hare, crazy airspace. I flew up there in the middle of the night because, that's what you do on a charter flight. And landed. All I was thinking about was the flight, getting up there, landing. I had not thought at all about, where do I drop these people off? And Powauke Airport is a sea of lights. I have no idea what I'm taxiing all over this airport, like trying to figure out, where do I drop these people?
Passenger?
Yeah, they're like, they don't know. They're just supposed to go to the
No cell phone
the
to call.
No, there's no cell phone. That was.
This is a learning curve.
You got to
could call
plan
it.
beyond the landing. You gotta, there's more to it.
That is hilarious.
But I was just taxiing all over Powauke Airport, which is this. But I moved into charter flying single engine, and then I moved, then you move into the multi-engine charter, all piston powered. And that's where this is where you were asking me about, scariest moment or whatever. This was the absolute closest call ever. This would have been really bad. And you're put in these situations. Again, this is when you're gaining experience. You've been through all the training. You've been taught all this stuff, but now you have to execute it. and I'm doing the most difficult thing I think you can possibly do. They probably don't even allow it. Are you allowed to do circling approaches in the 350?
No.
There's no way. We're not. No. And there was no GPS approaches. Most approaches today are straight into the runway. That's what you want.
Yep.
But back in the day, if the only approach was with a tailwind, you have to break out of the clouds and then circle around and land the opposite direction. You're low, you're slow. It's everything bad. And so I had flown this approach in a Baron, iced up on the approach. So I've got a bunch of ice on the airplane, break out, start my circling maneuver. As I'm making that turn from downwind to base,
Are you serious?
I almost stall it. And I've got the Secretary of Agriculture. This would have been really high profile.
Just another newspaper article of an idiot pilot.
Another dumb pilot mistake. What was he thinking? But it was a night.
It was nighttime?
IFR, ice, circle, and
See, this is literally the grace of God, the miracle of
Yes.
you not freaking burying it in. Because and from an engineering standpoint, the fact that it even warned you a little bit.
Yeah. Yes. And then to know immediately to respect that and Like, because you learn stalls, obviously, but what you're really learning are
everything prior to it.
the signs that are leading up, like you've entered this area.
This realm.
Yeah, and you need to get out of it immediately.
I would almost want to argue with you that you've done a lot of dumb things. Not just one, but I think there's several. And I think it might have to do with those chemicals that you ingested.
We're learning a lot.
We are learning a lot. So you moved.
I hope that others can learn a lot
from
and not
this.
be as dumb as me.
Well, I mean, everything these hangar stories, as you call them, they do teach.
Well, this is what we live for as pilots. We have people think that we have this obsession with fatal accidents and stuff, but as a pilot, I mean, you're constantly watching accident reports and YouTube videos constantly, and people are like, "What is wrong with you? How can you even?" I gotta learn. I gotta be reminded.
I used to take a subscription to, I don't even know what it was called, but it was like aviation safety. It was a little paper thing that came out, red and white print, and it would just go over accidents, and I learned so much of what not to do. Like, oh, I can see myself doing that. Check the box. Don't do that. And that's where these hangar stories or, these events that have happened to people, you really do learn a lot from them. You really do. Because that's one other level of experience per se you can put into your pilot bag of like, okay, I'm going to be careful. If I'm in icing and I'm going, turning base, I better watch what's going to happen because my stall speed's going to increase and blah, blah, blah as I bank. Well, that's what that story just told me, right? I mean, it just told me, be careful. Be careful with that. Interesting stuff.
But at the same time, I knew that, but still did it. But still, it still can creep up on you.
Yeah, that's probably those chemicals.
You're always learning.
That's probably those chemicals you ingested. All right, so corporate flying came out of the flight instructing and the charter work. This is in Champaign?
Yeah, I should add in there, because this is where you came into the mix. Like, I was crop dusting in, I don't know where, Iowa or wherever, and I had had that good season. It had ended where I was taking off under the power lines. It was great, but that season ended, so now I'm back in Illinois for the winter. I got nothing to do. So I'm like, well, I might as well try to find a flight instructing gig or something over the winter here, or, I guess that was like July.
This was July.
Yeah, so what a reason I was back. And maybe I had been there for a while. That probably makes sense. I'd probably been there. And then that's when I met you, because I had come back to Illinois, and I'm like, well, I got nothing to do. And I started instructing at that little
There must have been a reason why you didn't go back up for the summer spray?
Well, I think and then I think I was there, and I probably started doing some charter, and I was
just had a job,
and it was, I might as well just keep doing this.
Wow.
And then that's when my life changed forever. for the worse.
So you get into, what was your first jet you flew? The 60.
Dude, the
Sabre 60?
Sabreliner 60. So then I kind of moved into King Airs, and I've told you about my terrifying flight. So and then I moved to another company, and they were getting turboprops and had King Air. So now I'm moving from single to multi-engine to King Air. And this is where there was another guy who, his name was JD. And I think he flies for an airline now.
Okay. Don't mention who.
And he was new to the company also, and they thought it'd be a great idea. They'll just put us together.
Makes sense, right?
And you guys watch each other, because it's
Yeah.
just a single pilot airplane, but you guys kind of watch each other and learn and figure it out and keep each other out of the problems. And we were coming back from somewhere trying to use the radar, which, again, back in the day, you had to, it was a lot of
Was it not
art.
colors? It was just orange?
It was like the early color.
Okay.
Very early color. And there was an art. It was more art. You had to know how to manage the tilt and be able to read the X-ray.
Right.
We didn't read the X-ray right. We flew right into just terrible weather. Scared us, our passengers. And I've said that's the first time I've ever had the passengers literally got off the airplane and kissed. They were on the ground kissing the ground. And we're like, well, that was dumb.
Did you get in trouble for that? Did you?
I don't
get
think anybody. I
feedback?
don't think we talked about that ever again.
And the
till this
passenger
day,
and the
it's never been spoken
and the
of.
passengers didn't.
And they were
didn't
just like,
say anything.
I don't know, maybe this never came back.
I'm sure you came up with some
But
story.
some flights are like that, you know. It just doesn't go well. And then I deviated. I think we deviated like around Indianapolis one time because if you paint the ground, it'll show things. But if you're not and so we go, hey, we got to turn for weather. They're like, okay. Well, we later realized, yeah, there was no weather there. That was the city of Indianapolis.
Listen. I don't know if I learned correctly from the person that taught me.
I taught you, but then listen, we'll get into your stories later.
All right. Your corporate flying that you did, the 60, the Falcons, did you,
Yeah.
how would you describe corporate aviation?
Man, I loved it.
Was it fun?
Oh, man, it's great. Yeah.
What would you say is one of your funnest trips? Like, describe for
There's so
people who don't
many.
know anything
There's
about
just so
corporate
many,
aviation.
man.
Describe that picture of why is corporate aviation fun?
And we had a unique situation because we were corporate, but we kind of managed several different aircraft.
Oh, so you got a taste of
So
different
number
passengers
one, you're
going different
meeting
places.
just the most interesting people, as you know. These are billionaires. These are just really just amazing stories, but also stories. And again, aviation just brings you close. You're in a small area, and so when you have a guy, this guy's billionaire. And so they're just in the back, you're taking them somewhere, and they come up front, and they're just wanting to talk. And they love aviation too. They've got the aviation bug. And they don't care what this airplane costs. I'm having an airplane because it's just a time saver, and I love aviation. And secretly, I think many of them, they want to fly too. They want to be the pilot. But they know it's best to sit in the back because of the business. So, I remember this guy coming up front, and, we're just talking, and they reveal things like this guy says, we were talking about being a billionaire. Like, what's up with, how's that? And he goes, you don't know who your friends are. You don't have friends. You don't know. Because most people are just kind to you, and they really just want something at the end of the day. They're just buddy up. And so it's kind of lonely. You don't have, so you hear these perspectives and things.
Wow.
And I remember we were in Las Vegas one time.
Kind of sad.
It is. And it's raw and it's real. And aviation kind of just pulls that out. But we were in Las Vegas.
It's almost like you're a hairdresser.
Hey, yeah. Yeah.
You're hearing all the...
But it's not just, an hour. It's, hours that you're with these people.
Yeah.
Hours. And so we're in Vegas, and I'm with this other guy, and we're with another, just multi-billionaire. And he's like, hey, guys, I know you're going back home. And his son was going back with us. He was going to stay. And he said, can you just take this check back and just cash it? I don't want to give it to my son. I just don't trust him. You take it. And he gave it to the guy I was with, and he didn't really think about it. He goes, yeah, just take it to this bank, just put it in the account. Okay. Gives back, it's like $1.5 million check.
Are you serious?
This guy's like, gets back and carefully takes it to the bank and deposits it properly, but
what the heck?
it's just a different world in corporate that you get exposed to. Some people with a ton of money are just the most, incredibly humble, nice. Some of those people were just, you would never know they even had this much money. They'd show up, hey, want some catering? No, I'm just going to grab some McDonald's on the way. Like, McDonald's? We'll just get you something. Nah, don't worry about it. Here he comes with a McDonald's bag, stuff
Getting on
like
his
that.
Falcon jet.
Yeah, very humble, having all that money really never changed them, Wow. But then you also have the others that it's just corruption. They're just terrible people.
Really?
Just rotten, terrible people. One time, again, we were leaving, going to Vegas, and right after takeoff, hey, screaming at us, go to this other airport, which is 20 miles away. Like, we can't, what are you talking about? Go. Well, we got too much fuel. Like, we can't, we're going to have, yeah, okay, whatever you got to do, just land over there. Okay. So we burn the fuel, we land. They're picking up hookers.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. And then going to Vegas. It's just, so some of the stuff that you run into.
You go from one extreme to the other.
Yes. So, but again, it's people and it's the relationships and the stories and then the places you go. Like you say, like, where's your favorite place to go? Like, there's so many trips. And again, some of these people are so kind and humble. They'd be, bring your wife. It's like, well, I don't want, no, you got to bring your wife. We're going to, Aspen. You can skip. I feel, listen, you're bringing your wife. Oh, okay. Melissa, you got to come with me. We're going, oh, okay. Well, that seems good. And they were so kind. They would make you bring your family and they would put you up and make you ski all week. And
that is
so generous.
Fun.
And, they would be going to like I remember going to, back in the day of Michael Jordan. They're going to a game. You guys are coming with us. We're in the box, seats
watching
up there.
Jordan
We're watching the Jordan.
Oh my gosh.
So
that is the fun thing about corporate aviation. I'm glad I got to do it because I got to experience some really neat things that you'll only see in corporate aviation.
So many stories. It kind of ruined me for then going to the airlines because I had this super personal experience. And then
the equipment is incredibly kept up.
Yeah.
It's incredibly clean.
There's some bad corporations out there.
Well, there is.
Yeah.
There is. There's the gamut from the low to the high, without a doubt. Gosh, I could talk to you forever about that.
It's amazing. Yeah.
So, from corporate aviation to designated pilot examiner.
Oh, yeah.
What was the transition? How did it happen? And how did you then get to the FAA?
Yeah. Relationships, right? It's always relationships.
Same thing.
Always. In aviation, it's always a relationship. So because I was in corporate aviation, which we also chartered the airplanes, and so when you charter the airplanes, you have to work with the FAA. They're giving you check rides. You develop a relationship with them. They're looking over your shoulder. So I knew the FAA people. I knew the guy, and in fact, I got to the point where I was actually, every quarter, the FAA would have to do training in an aircraft. And so we had some King Airs. So I would train the FAA, I would train these guys, help them get their hours in and keep their proficiency. So I just knew them well, which you should know an FAA guy. You need to know, especially you need to know an FAA guy before you need an FAA guy. But yeah, you got to know a guy. No, don't be afraid of the FAA.
I prayed you get an FAA job just for that purpose.
And so I knew them, and they, I think, asked me. They were just looking like we need a designated pilot examiner. Now that means that it's like a driver's test when you got your private license, and so you have to go take a test with the FAA or someone designated by the FAA to give that test. And I did that for almost 10 years, and to this day, people come up to me and hey, I don't even know who this person is. You gave me my CFI. You gave me my private. And I was like, did I pass you? Are you mad? I don't know. But they're like, oh no, it was great. And sometimes even when they fail, no, actually you didn't pass me, but you know what? I needed it. It was right.
I've had that situation. I've had that situation before. And it's kind of cool because you think then they're not going to be your friend.
Yeah.
And then it turns out later, I don't know if it's their thought process, and they realize I shouldn't have been passed, and I went on to learn better and greater, and then I did pass, and I'm glad that I didn't at the time. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
But you almost think, it feels awful not to pass somebody. But later on, when they give you the handshake and they appreciate it, it's weird.
It's really weird.
Right?
Yeah, and you don't even remember them because I gave hundreds and hundreds of check rides, so I don't remember. Some of them I do. I remember a guy, I don't know who he is, but sometimes people are so nervous during check rides. Check rides are just a terrible part of aviation, but they're also,
they really are.
They're necessary and good.
Yep.
And this guy, maybe it was a private or commercial check ride that he was going for. And I was talking about, and I'm just trying to put the guy at ease because he's a nervous wreck.
Okay.
He's just shaking. And I go, let's just talk about airspace. That's pretty straightforward. And the airspace around a big airport, they commonly refer to it as an upside down wedding cake because it's a wedding cake is tiered and you got the little, but flip it upside down and near the airport is this little circle, but as you go up, it gets bigger. So I was like, well, tell me about Class Bravo airspace. And he goes, that's like an upside down pancake. And he's going on and on. And I would try, and this is when you're an examiner, you can't lead them to the right answer. Now, I know he knows what he's talking about, but he keeps saying pancake. So I was like, man, an upside down pancake. Yes. And I go, have you seen an upside down pancake?
He's locked into that.
He's so locked in. So people would get so scared and nervous, which is normal. And a good examiner is going to try to like de-escalate that and put them at ease. So you can learn, because this guy knew what he was talking about.
I've heard of good
yeah.
designees and I've heard of bad designees.
Oh, yeah.
Just like the good instructor and the bad instructor.
Yeah.
And I've actually had both in my life. And it's crazy to have somebody. The number one job you should have as an instructor, a designee, anything where you're looking at somebody is a chilled out atmosphere.
Yes.
Because that person already has blood pressure that's 200 over 150.
It's the worst.
And if you can at least de-escalate their feelings a little bit, even though they need to perform, to create that environment that is, because I've just seen it. I've seen it so many times when somebody comes in messed up because they've gotten themselves messed up, and then the instructor or the designee has that edge.
No, it's
done.
Now you don't
before
know
it even
anything.
started.
You don't know anything. You can't speak.
Off. The switch goes off. What's 1 + 1? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just studied for the last 2 weeks and I have no idea. Yeah. I'm blank.
Yeah.
And it's just that initial, what is that personality like?
My son tells a story. He was so nervous taking maybe his instrument check ride or something, but they came in, and the first question they simply asked him, he was at a college, they said, well, what's your student ID number? He uses this every day all the time. And he's like, he didn't. He has to look at his student ID and like read.
That's how messed up he was.
So the examiner has to say, like, okay, like, I'm not going to get a true picture of this individual. Let's just talk a little bit. Like, it's going to be okay. And then he settled down. He goes, There's a whole thing behind taking check rides, and I would say my mentors, like this is what I learned, because I would see people who could just roll through a check ride like nothing.
Yeah.
And I go, man, that's pretty awesome. How do you do that? Well, the way you do that, this is what I learned from you fly every day like it's a check ride. Every flight, you don't taxi on the left side of the center line ever. You always hold yourself to not a practical test or ACS standard, a higher standard, the best standard. Every time you fly. And you, simple things. Like, because the best pilots I've seen, like, they have habits. This is what I learned. Like, I was flying with this guy one time, and I'm in the right, I'm just kind of a passenger, and this guy's like, a simple thing like, when he releases the brake, the landing light comes on. He's moving. When he stops the airplane, landing light goes off. And I thought, oh, it was almost like he had connected the landing. Well, that's kind of how you fly. If you're moving, you turn your landing light on so people know you're moving. If you stop, you turn it off. You take off, positive rate, gear up, lights off, and they just have this. It's almost like a music. Like it's kind of just flows. It's even, and their checklist usage, everything is such a habit.
Yeah.
That if you miss something, it's like glaring.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
and
that's how you ace check rides.
That's a great point.
From the day one, you pre-flight. If you pre-flight, you walk. You do it the same way. If you start it, you do it the same way. And you ingrain these habits where you can't do it any other way.
And when it does happen, it is a light bulb that goes off and says, something isn't right. Because I just have done this 100 times in a row. And now something, whether it was an ATC call or something wrong with the airplane or whatever, it just raises the flag and you're like, okay, we didn't finish that. We didn't do that because you're out of step. And if you willy-nilly it through the process, you're never going to have steps to follow and you're not going to catch those mistakes. Great advice. Great advice.
And these are the things I think you don't really learn until you get into the higher levels of you're in a really disciplined corporate flight department or an airline environment where
somebody's watching you and they're hammering you on
and
those
you do
things.
it like this.
Yeah.
And the other guy, and as you know, in the airlines, we could fly together. Like, I don't know you, I've never met you, but I can get in the right seat and I go, and you're over here in the left seat, and you're going, and it just like,
it
comes together. And that's how you fly. That's the safest. And if you learn to do that from an early level, a check ride is just another flight.
Yeah, I mean, check rides should not be a big deal.
It's a nothing.
It should be a nothing burger.
I had to learn that, and I could see it when I started giving check rides. Man, this guy can just come in. Well, he's been taught like a rhythm, like a habit form. There was a guy in a kind of goes on my FAA stuff. You go to these accidents, but there was a guy who was bring crops in a helicopter, and they really don't know what happened. They think he had one of these like TIA, like he just blanked.
Oh, really?
Like he just went to sleep for a second and into the ground. And then he woke up. I mean, the helicopter is still running. And he didn't even know this. This was late. He'd crashed.
He woke up.
The thing's tore up. He's gone.
What?
But you come back to the scene, and what he had done in his kind of unconscious but yet conscious moment, he got up and he went tick, 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 all the switches off, put his helmet in the bag, placed the bag back in the baggage area, because this is what he did every single time. And all of that stuff was done. Like, where's my helmet? Oh, it's in the bag in the back.
You're kidding me.
I put that in the back. Like, it was so regimented, and that's how you fly.
Wow.
That's how you do it.
That's crazy.
It's almost unconscious.
Now, I want to get into the FAA inspector thing a bit. And
this is where I have no more friends.
I know.
You didn't talk to me over like 5 years. No,
it was tough. It was tough.
You know, you're the only Marblestone. No, you and your wife are the only Marblestones in the FAA database.
Is that right?
Your last name, yeah.
Anybody in the country.
Only.
That's it.
It's so easy to look up and track.
That's hilarious. All right. That being said, accident investigation. How did you get into that?
I mean, that's part of the FAA, right? I mean, that's kind of one of their primary duties is going to the accidents in our area. So I initially started when I started with the FAA. Which I had been flying airlines, and I was just like, man, and again, another connection. I was just tired of driving to Chicago. I was based in Chicago, driving up there at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I missed the kind of the corporate, relationship type stuff. And this guy calls me from the FAA. Warren, what are you doing? Driving back from Chicago. You ever thought about working for the FAA? I'm like, what are you talking about? So,
you're still a designee at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to give that up when I went to the FAA.
Okay.
You can't be a designee for when you work for them.
But
so he goes, yeah, man, we're hiring some people. You should just come work for the FAA. I'm like, you know what? Let's talk about that. So just out of the blue, just calls me.
No kidding.
Up. Yep.
Just another relationship.
Another relationship. And so I go to work for the FAA, which has been awesome. I've really, and I'm almost like coming up, 19 years or something with the FAA.
No kidding.
It's been great.
20 years is a full retirement?
Yeah, I'll be retired probably in May of 27, I think. Not
no
that
kidding.
I'm like marking it or counting it.
But that's
anything.
what it is.
Yeah. I could retire. I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't.
But you're enjoying it.
Yes, yeah.
And you're mostly remote, right? Because of COVID and so forth.
Yeah,
that it turned into
we're kind
a
of
remote
going
job.
back to the office, but yeah. So I go to work for the FAA, and I'm in a FSDO, Flight Standards District office. So they have these, and each FSDO has an area, and they have to respond to the accidents in their area.
Okay.
So now you're kind of on the other side of things. You know, when you're flying, you hear about it, but in the FAA, you're going to the accident like when it happens, and it is it's a whole nother game, you know, and you learn so much, but you kind of see the realities of it, and I don't know what do you want to know? I mean, it's tragic.
What? Gosh, I have a billion questions.
Yeah.
Did it make you a different pilot after you worked for the FAA?
Oh yeah, yeah, no question.
In what way?
It just makes it real. It's one thing to read an accident report from the NTSB. It's one thing to hear maybe a YouTube review of an accident, but to be there, so it's as real as it gets. So here's a crazy story. I get a call from the office, I guess, and they're like, Warren, there's been an accident, and it's actually pretty close to my house, and it's out on the highway. There's an aircraft just augured in. It's on the interstate.
Really?
They can't even figure out what it is.
What?
Don't even know what it is. Could you go out there and at least the first part, just identify this aircraft for them? Because the first responders, all that stuff's there. I'm like, okay, go out there. So I drive out to the interstate, and here is this burned up black hulk of a fuselage.
Get out.
I go back, I find the data plate. There's a data plate on the tail. I find it, and I go, wow, I flew this airplane 2 weeks ago.
What?
I know exactly what this airplane is. My kids soloed in this aircraft. I did flight training with my kids in this aircraft. And here it is.
That's freaky.
And I said, well, this is what it is. This is where it's based. This is who owns it. It's like, wow. So I have to take a picture. I go, here's the airplane. They're like, what? So things can go bad really quick. And what this was a bird survey. They were out doing looking for eagles' nests because they're putting up windmills and all that stuff around. So they have to what kind of wildlife is in the area and the eagle population. Well, that's kind of dangerous work because you're down low and you're maneuvering. And when you got cameramen and things they're kind of pushing you to get lower, to go slower, to turn tighter. And
what kind of plane?
It was a Cessna 172, and this simple, this guy just. Again, low altitude, and spun in.
No kidding.
Yeah, spun in.
How many accidents would you say you've gone to?
Oh, man. That's a good question.
Are they regional?
Yeah, it's all there in Illinois, pretty much.
Whatever your FSDO is responsible for.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very rare that you would go outside your area. So, I mean, over 20 years... I don't know. Dozens for sure. Maybe 30, 40.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. And some of them are just very minor. Guy lands, doors pop open, breaks the landing gear off.
Sounds pretty common, right?
Yeah. No one's hurt. Aircraft was damaged. Okay, but it's still an accident.
What's the relationship between the NTSB and the FAA?
Yeah.
Everyone knows that the kind of blanket is FAA, it seems, but then NTSB goes to the accidents. So the FAA goes to the accidents too. What is that relationship?
Yeah, it's an interesting one and a needed one and a good one, I think, because the FAA is going to typically be the first one on the scene because we have the resources, we have the local office. We're going to go there first.
Where the NTSB has
more regional.
I gotcha.
And now that could change. If it's a high profile, we had a 757 that goes zinging off the end of a runway. They're probably coming to that.
Okay.
If it's an air carrier, if it's something, that's a little bit outside our scope because we're a general aviation office. But we're going to go. But they're probably on their way and going to be there and be like, okay, we got this. So they're going to take over that. Now, what we do is we coordinate with them. So if we go to the accident, we coordinate like, hey, we're going to be on scene. Could you have them fill out this incident? We'll help them. We'll assist them. We'll give them we'll share all the information they have. But ultimately, at some point, it goes to them. It's their investigation now.
But yet the FAA writes the rules.
Yeah, and that's why there's this. So it's important there's this separation. Because what the NTSB is going to do is give recommendations to the FAA for oversight and things. Like, hey, you're the rule makers. You shouldn't also be kind of deep down here in the weeds. There's a separation over here where we're going to give you some oversight, FAA. Like, do you need more regulations here? Should you? And the big part of the investigation was there an FAA issue involved? Was there a regulatory deficiency? Was there an FAA system that failed? Maybe the instrument landing system wasn't working properly. Was there air traffic control failure? So the FAA is kind of looking at itself. Well, you really need somebody like separated from the FAA that's looking at the FAA as part of the problem, maybe.
The feeling I've gotten over the years is that the NTSB gets deeper into the weeds and comes up with recommendations that should be done, and the FAA sometimes adopts them and sometimes doesn't. And if I was to choose a side, I would say NTSB is right, the FAA is wrong. Now, that might not be fair,
I can't believe you
but because the NTSB just states the facts and the FAA writes the policy, enlighten the audience on, am I just BSing it here? Or like, sometimes I look at accidents and I'm like, well, why don't they do this? Why don't they do this? And they don't.
Yeah.
It seems more political in nature than it is just, here's the facts, this is the way it should be. What's your thoughts without getting fired?
That's just the truth. That's just the truth. Because in the end of the day, the FAA and the NTSB are government organizations. Well, there's limitations to that.
Okay.
There's just any government. I mean, even Elon Musk, speaking honest, he's sending spaceships to like Mars, and he goes, the government is unfixable. Like, that's a big statement. Like, this guy can do anything. He goes, I can't fix government. Like, it's just kind of the nature of government. And in some ways it's beneficial that it's slow, that it doesn't do things doesn't just change rules real quickly. It's kind of designed to work slow. It's so process oriented that things can sometimes grind to a halt. But that can also be a good thing. And so yes, anytime you've got a government agency and agencies involved, things just slow down. And I don't know if the FAA, sometimes they just never adopt the NTSB's stuff.
You say they never do?
They don't very often.
Like, it's pretty rare?
But sometimes they do. And probably the truth is they do. It's just very slow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a situation where you personally feel like the NTSB recommended this, the FAA didn't do it, and then there's another accident that happens because it didn't take place?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the hesitation for the FAA to adopt all the things that the NTSB do when it's an organization, governmental as well?
Sometimes it's like, well, what is being changed? Is it a regulation? It's hard to change regulations. Is it even possible for the FAA to make that change?
Who does
And then if you make that change, what other problems does it solves this problem? But what problems does it cause over here? It just gets complicated.
Who rubber stamps a change? Like, is it the FAA administrator that rubber stamps it?
There's
is he
no
the
rubber stamp in the FAA. It's a stack always in government of rubber stamps. There's never one rubber stamp. Unless the only rubber stamp that you would ever get is Congress. Well, Congress will just come in and say, change it now.
Is that what happened with the 1,500-hour rule?
I think so, yeah.
Do you think that would have changed without major political pressure?
Here's one that I know was sometimes the FAA will be mandated to do something by Congress. They don't want to do it, but Congress says, you will do it.
Because it's that big of a deal.
But then the FAA takes the hit of, what are you guys doing? This is terrible.
Give me an example.
Drones.
Okay.
You will integrate drones into the national airspace system now.
Congress says so.
Yes, you will do it. And so they do it. And now there's a lot of backlash about why are these drones, ADS-B on drone, why are you doing this with drones? Because Congress says we're going to do it, which ultimately goes back to the people just demand it,
And that's ultimately what rules, right?
At the end of the day, being in government for a long time, our system of government, you can gripe, you complain about it. Honestly, it's not perfect. It works pretty good.
It does.
We have the safest airspace system in the world. We're the model.
Very true.
Do we have deficiencies? Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the NTSB, the FAA, they're kind of doing their thing. It's not perfect, but it kind of also works.
The safety of the airspace system and what the FAA and NTSB has done over the years is so fantastic. And I think it's because, unfortunately, when there is an aircraft accident, like an airliner, and there's so much, carnage, it gets the attention of everybody. And so, therefore, these changes take place. It remains so safe and becomes even safer, unlike, let's use the medical field as an example, the amount of mistakes that are made in the medical field, you can Google this, is the equivalent of a 747 crashing every day.
Yeah.
But it happens over 50 states. It happens, 3 here in different parts of the state, 5 here in different parts of the state, 3 here, and that all equals the average of 400 people a day due to medical malpractice.
You never hear it on the news.
But you don't, because it's not 400 people altogether.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't have the regulation and the safety that the airline industry does, because we're all packed in this tube, and it's pretty terrible when something happens.
My uncle used to tell me that. He's like, oh, you're going to be a pilot? He goes, a surgeon can kill maybe one person at a time. You're going to kill 300-400 people at a time.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like 60s, 70s, there were big airline accidents monthly.
Yeah.
And like the level, I used to have the stats on like the level of, it's mind-boggling how safe aviation is.
It really is.
Because what was the last fatal accident? I'm trying to even remember. It was something just, what was it? Oh, it was at Washington, D.C., the collision that happened there. There hadn't been a major accident like that in the United States with a U.S. carrier for, a decade?
Probably a decade. It's unbelievable.
I used to have the number.
The amount of aircraft movements. My most dangerous time, by far, in my 40 years of flying, has been driving to the airport in my car.
Yes. Like literally billions of passengers have been carried over the last 10 years. Zero.
You are so much safer to be in an airplane. That's probably the safest place that you can be.
It's crazy.
In the existence of your life is inside an airplane, even in a more dangerous scenario of being in an airplane. If you take yourself out of commercial aviation into private aviation, you're still way safer. You're way, way safer.
That's crazy.
I mean, it really is. I think people understand it to a certain degree, but I don't think they understand it statistically to the degree that they need to.
Run the numbers on it. It's staggering.
Yeah.
The level, particularly the United States, like flag carriers.
Yeah.
What they accomplish in concert with the FAA is absolutely astonishing.
Yeah, it is. It is. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. All right, we must move on. There's so much to talk about with this safety inspection stuff. Gosh, any other crazy stories?
Yeah,
leave me with one more safety inspector type story.
I think the funniest thing, honestly, to me, the silliest thing, everybody's scared to death of the FAA. Oh my goodness, the FAA's here. Like I've showed up at places. One time I showed up, we have to go out and sometimes do some inspections, or maybe we're just out, let's drop in and see what's going on here. We literally walked up to this place because we had parked. I think we came in by a car. Well, somebody noticed us, and they evacuated the entire building. Like it was gone, except one guy was still out working in the hangar. Like we're like, it's like what happened? And we go up and this guy's like out, like he's wrenching on this engine and we're like, hey, what's going on? Like he won't even speak to us. Hey, finally we just left.
He didn't talk to you.
Yeah. Another time we had flown in to an airport. Like we were flying like somewhere down in southern Illinois. We flew in, I don't know what we were even doing there. But as we're taxiing in, they come on to it was a Unicom frequency. They came on, talked to us on the radio. They said, hey guys, just want to give you the heads up. The FAA's coming in. Just be careful. The FAA is going to be coming in.
And you were the FAA.
Yeah, they're talking to us. I'm like, okay, thanks for the heads up.
Why do you think their reputation?
Okay, but here's kind of the other side of that that's so funny. Like the FAA, we can't possibly surveil everything and see and out there. And honestly, we're busy doing a lot of other things. But I don't even think the FAA has to. Because here's the weird thing is pilots, for some reason, love to turn in other pilots for something they saw or something that's going on. So all our information comes from the industry itself.
Does it really?
I'd say most of it comes from
because if somebody sees something not safe or they deem it as not safe,
and
they're
maybe
going to
that's
say,
self-policing.
so there is, so that really exists.
Oh, huge.
Does it really?
Sometimes it might come in the form of an anonymous letter, or it's just a phone call, or somebody will show up and say, hey, this is going on.
What do you do?
Well, we have to investigate it.
So you do.
We do.
So you follow up and check it out.
Everything, yeah. We
and
follow
so
up on it.
you look over and there's Warren with his FAA thing on with, binoculars, and it's all because somebody.
That's where we get all our information.
Really?
Pretty much, yeah. Like, for example, here, the worst one I ever had, and it was a good thing. I mean, I think it's the industry is kind of self-policing. I don't quite understand it all. But there was an individual who was very experienced pilot, but got into the drug scene. I mean, heavy, bad, and lost his medical. It was taken away, rescinded, like you're done. And so we get a phone call like, hey, by the way, so-and-so, I know they don't have a medical, and they're en route to St. Louis right now, and they have some passengers on board. In fact, a couple of young kids on board.
Oh, no way.
We're like, really? Thank you.
So you call the FSDO down there?
No, I just call the police.
Oh, no kidding.
And I say, could you meet this aircraft? It's going to be landing. It's going to come into this location. And could you ID the pilot for us? And would you ask them for their medical certificate? Sure. So they go out there and they're like, okay, yeah, we got his driver's license. It's this individual. So now we've put the pilot in the aircraft. And when I asked for the medical, he said he didn't have it. He left it at home. Okay, thank you. Now we've got a full police report, and everything.
Does he go to jail? What happens there?
Yeah. He literally did end up, he lost all his certificates and went to prison.
Wow.
And that was all part of the drug. It was all part of the whole thing. But that's pretty serious, and that should not be happening in the system.
It's funny because we had talked earlier about it's a small world, and that even makes it even a smaller world too, because somebody's always, if you see somebody doing something crazy, you're at the minimum going to take that tail number down and look them up and see what's that all about.
Yeah,
and if you feel like it's not right, you probably would say like, look, I don't want to be the guy that gets hit by a moron out there doing something stupid.
So people are watching, and don't buzz stuff. Like, just don't. Like, I'd say, like, so many accidents I've gone to is just somebody buzzing somebody.
Really?
Just buzzing. I know it just seems like fun. It seems, I don't know, attractive, exciting, or whatever.
Well, low and fast is fun.
It is, yeah, I guess, yeah. That's why that's why I wanted to be a crop duster. But you can do it legally. But we had a guy that was buzzing the lake, and and it was a popular lake. It was long, narrow, and you kind of come down and buzz the lake. And he thought he had hit a bird. He goes, I hit a bird. because the airplane's all balled up in a field, and he wrecked it. And
Oh my gosh.
no, the bird was sitting on a power line. He hit the bird, but he also hit the.
He saw the bird that
There's
was
a power
literally
line wrapped
sitting.
around your propeller. That's why it
Holy-
wouldn't produce thrust anymore. You knocked out power to the entire area. You were down buzzing the lake.
Okay, well that could be an automatic. What happens to his license? Like, is it a suspension for a while?
It's nothing. I don't know. It would have to. I don't know. I don't remember what.
Things like that would,
But yeah,
because that probably goes to a different department.
yeah. He's
You
lucky he was alive. Most of them you don't live through
Oh,
the
really?
buzzing accidents. Yeah.
Yeah.
So many buzz. Just don't buzz stuff. And so the low flying, and everybody's got a camera now.
Yeah, that's true.
And and I was sitting in my house one day, and this was fun because here comes this airplane just screaming out of the sky, buzzing
In the middle of nowhere?
buzzing my neighbor.
Seriously.
And so I filmed the whole thing, like I see the aircraft, I see the N number, and particularly the day with ADSB, all I got to do is look at ADSB. I know who you are,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Now, we can't use that data. And so, well, what do I do with that? So I call the guy in and I go, dude, we got some reports that you were buzzing, on this date at this time. I got the whole thing lined up. Like, what are you doing? Oh, well, yeah, denies the whole thing. I think I was maybe making an approach over here. He's got every excuse in the book. I go, you sure about that? Yeah, man. I go, well, I got a video. Like, is this you? You look going pretty fat. Doesn't look like you're landing. Well, yeah, okay, yeah. Finally, he's like, yeah, it was me. I go, well, it was me that saw you. I live next door. And so I just like, it scared him really bad.
Right,
I just talked to him. But I had another inspector in there too. We just really came down on him and we told him, like, here's the thing, at the FAA, we go to your accident.
Yeah.
And here's your body. And we got to,
I don't think
pull you out of that.
the perpetrator per se, it's just like a police officer that gets kind of ticked off at you because you're speeding.
Yeah.
But he's been to countless accidents where he's
Yes.
seen dead this and dead that.
The drinking and driving, like, really?
And they see so much carnage that it kills them. And so it's like, I might be the bad guy here,
Yes.
but I just know where this leads and I've got to stop it. It's kind of a crazy thought because when you're in the process of doing the fun activity that it is, you don't think about the consequences.
You're down, it's harmless. What's the big deal? Until you hit that wire that you didn't see, or there's just so many accidents like that. Some of them fatal. But what the FAA is always looking for is compliance. How can I get you to compliance at the lowest possible level? Some people, I'm just going to have to take all your license away because you're just bent on breaking every rule and putting everyone in danger. There's very few of those people in aviation. Some of them just need a stern talking to, and I've actually become really good friends with that guy now.
No kidding.
Yeah. And
wow, that's so amazing.
And I always say, like, I'm watching you.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I know, dude, I don't do that anymore. I was done. Like, so we've got compliance out of the guy.
Wow.
It didn't require that.
That's crazy.
Please don't go out and buzz everything. It's
All
so
right.
tempting.
Let's dig in to...
Digging in.
I'm going to dig into some of these questions that I asked you before the 30-second, but do you think that you have changed at all as a person because of being a pilot?
No question. No question, man.
Because why?
This is what
Define
aviation
it.
does to you. I mean, you could tell the same thing. It's like aviation changes you. Number one, it just gave me purpose. It gave me a career. It gave me kind of just just something to do, something that I could grab onto, something that challenged me and paid me, and but also again, like the relationships, like our friendship came from a 40-year friendship just from aviation.
Yeah.
And there's other people, the same kind of things. When you see them, they're like, oh, you were my flight instructor, and and it's just a special bond. So that has changed, and things I didn't expect, like like I didn't really know that I really enjoy teaching. I really do.
Yeah.
Like I never would have been like you went and did the school teaching. Like I never would have done that. But it's really led me into more teaching because I really do like seeing people make progress and teaching them something and bringing them along. And you become a student or observer of people, because when you teach somebody to fly, that's the other thing you're always trying to do is to like the same approach doesn't work for different individual. Everybody is different, especially like male, females. Like I taught both my son and my daughter to fly. And with my son, with males, it seems like you're trying to place boundaries on, like you're holding them back a little bit because they want to go too far. They want to push it. They just take risk all the time that is dumb, and you're teaching it, stop, do it, slow down, think about it, don't be an idiot.
I only laugh because I know his son. I know his son. I only laugh.
But my daughter, and sometimes I'm going to tell you what, the females are phenomenal pilots. You've probably seen this, like because they understand risk. Like they have a better, natural approach to risk. But you're having to expand the envelope with them. You're having to kind of slow down, like it can't get really too intense. We'd have to stop. Let's just do a fun flight. We have to breathe a little bit. Okay, back in, let's go. So I've become more of an observer of people.
Yeah.
Because of aviation, because of instructing. And this goes even to corporate flying, just meeting these people, giving good customer service. It's the same thing in the airlines, I think like we get into aviation because we want to fly and we love the machine, we love it.
There's a huge byproduct though to it, huh?
Yeah, and that can't be the end game. To me, that's something you have to master and you have to stay on top of. And it's almost like playing music. Like you have to get, if you're a musician, you have to get where you can play the instrument. In fact, you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
Well, now you can become an entertainer. Yeah. Now you can really start to write the songs and play to an audience, and that's where it really kind of changes you. I'm not just here, flying an airplane from point A. That's honestly very simple.
Yeah.
Really simple.
Another thing that this comes up whenever there's some sort of an incident that happens outside of aviation. Aviation has taught me to be chill, to look at the facts, and to take care of the situation and don't freak out. Like I've had medical emergencies happen, not in the airplane, but outside the airplane. And I'm just like, all right, it's like an engine failure. Just because it's bleeding, it's fine, whatever. We'll shake later. We'll freak out later. But for now, think and do and take care of the situation. And I've seen that like a ton of times where it's just like, how do you remain calm during this? Because I'm not getting emotional. I'm going to take care of the situation. And whether it's my personality or not, aviation forces you to chill, don't freak out, look at the situation, see what you have, take care of it, and then later on, when you hangar talk and you talk about it, you can be like, oh my gosh, I'm freaked out. I've heard so many pilots say, yeah, I did it. Then when I got on the ground, my legs are shaking and whatever. Yes. But while I'm in the process, I'm going through it. And that's happened in a lot of situations that I've dealt with outside of it. And that's aviation has done that for sure.
I'm the exact same way. Like I almost thrive in high pressure. Like when the stakes go really high, it calms me down. I can almost slow down in that situation. That comes right out of aviation.
It's wild, isn't it?
For sure. But I've literally been taxing in and my leg is shaking.
You just don't realize.
What just happened, like that whole that circling, like what just happened, like that got a little too close, like.
Yeah, I mean. It's after the fact.
Yeah.
It's after the fact. Crazy. We talked about the hardest airplane to fly, the easiest airplane to fly.
Saberliner, man.
Saberliner. Now, I'm going to have to push back a little bit.
Do it.
The Saberliner was
I'm so far ahead of you on this, you're going to lose.
You're totally
going to lose.
The Saberliner, because I flew it as well, was probably one of the most stable airplanes I've ever flown. But you cannot say that it's easier than 172.
Yes, it is.
there's no way, because if you get slow in a jet, you're in big problems.
But listen to this. Maybe you've forgotten. Because you flew the 75. That's a different animal. Sabre. I flew the Sabre 60.
Well, turbojet engines, because I flew the Lear, you have instantaneous power. Is that what you're about to go down?
No, dude, it's far greater.
Okay, let's hear it.
This was the coolest thing talk about bone simple. You fly jets, you know about leading edge devices.
Oh, I know what you're about to say.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. So this has like the leading edges will droop down and kind of changes the shape of the wing and gives you additional lift. But normally they're like hydraulic, sophisticated. Not the Sabreliner, man. They're aerodynamically operated. As you go down the runway and accelerate, they slowly just...
I think it was 180 knots.
Yeah, it's crazy. But then if you get too slow, you don't have to do anything. They just drop out.
Yeah.
The airplane was crazy. Like, I mean, in the King Air, when I flew the King Air, pretty modern King Air, if I had an inverter failure, which is supplying energy to like my most important flight instruments, my attitude gear, I have to figure that out and look down here and flip a switch over to my standby inverter. Well, hopefully I do that in time. Not the Sabreliner. It detects that, and this is an old airplane. Old.
Yeah.
It goes, oh, ping, and it just switches it over to the standby inverter and tells you.
I've never talked to anybody that's flown a Rockwell International product that hasn't loved it beyond belief.
Yes. This is why, I mean, they had Bob Hoover, the greatest pilot to ever fly. Like, he was there, and he did an aerobatic act, I think. Was it the Sabre 40? But Sabre 60, Sabre 40.
Yep.
The Rockwell Commander. There was a reason he was doing that stuff in Rockwell.
I'm still going to disagree with you, but you can't say 172. You cannot say a Sabreliner over 172, but let's go on.
No.
That's terrible. It's just terrible that you would even say that
true.
For the pilots out there.
You've never flown one. You can't even speak to this situation.
Let's see. You've already talked about, I asked you singular, what's the dumbest thing, and you probably told everybody about six things. No, there was about six things. Dream airplane to fly, we talked about that. Biggest aviation regret. What was that one?
Oh, that was minor. That was not getting my A and P. I have a theory. I have a system. You ready for this?
Uh-oh.
See, this is my advice to the world. And I saw this. This is all I learned in college. This is it. I was walking down the hallway one day, and I'm like probably drooling or something and half asleep, and I look over, I see this thing hanging on the wall, and this is what it says. And this is the best advice ever. And I hope I can remember it all. But it says, when you're in your 20s, learn all you can. Just soak it, because you still got a brain. I mean, you can just absorb things so quickly and pick it up and do it. Learn. Just soak it in your 20s. A lot of times you'll learn a little bit into your 20s and then you'll kind of move on to something else. Dude, just soak it up. Learn. I should have got my A&P because I had the time. I could have just gone and knocked it out, been done. Wouldn't even have been a thing. In your 30s, take all the risk you can. Just throw it out there because you're young. You can recover. In your 40s, it's lead. I think. Yeah. Is it? I think it's lead. No, make all the money you can. In your 40s, just bank it, man. Bank it. Make the money. And then in your 50s, lead all you can. And then your 60s, just leave it all style. That's worth the price of admission right there, dude.
That's hilarious.
That's all you need to know in life.
I have 3 aviation regrets.
Okay.
Really 4. One is you being my instructor. No, that was a good thing. My wife and I had a chance at the time, due to just an airline deal, to either take a ship over to Europe and fly the Concorde back, or vice versa. $700 to fly on the Concorde as an interline airline thing. Didn't do it. Another one was in 1993, I believe it was, or 91, somewhere in that era, there was a MiG-29 that crashed at the Paris Air Show, Russian pilot. He came to Illinois. He was going to do an air show in Springfield. We are on an airliner. He walks on. I recognize him because he's in a blue Russian flight suit. And his broken English and we start chatting and talk all the way up to Chicago. Bottom line is, he gives me his card. He says, you come to Russia, you get to fly on a MiG-29 with me. I never did it.
Wow, dude.
He ended up being the head of the Air Force for Russia. And I didn't do it.
I
know.
That's
I should
the
be
dumbest thing.
I know.
I should punch you in the face
and
right now.
then the third thing is I had a chance. I could have commuted to work. I could have flown the 747 and I didn't. And that was the airplane that kind of motivated me growing up to get to the airlines, to keep studying, keep working hard. And I didn't, but a lot of complications in taking pay cuts and commuting and blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of a regret, kind of not. But those are the three kind of big regrets that I didn't do as far as from an aviation standpoint. All right, let's move into...
You just remind me of another quick story.
Okay.
Because, again, a theme is merging is these connections in aviation. And I just remember one time that you tell me, you got on board the airplane, you sat down, and sitting right next to you is Herb Kelleher, the founder of Southwest Airlines.
Yeah.
And you're talking to him this whole time. And then at the end, he's like, oh, can you help me find my way through O'Hare or whatever it was? And you walked him to the gate. But then years later, I actually interviewed with Southwest Airlines. And you reached out to Herb Kelleher, who was the CEO at that time. He goes, hey, my friend is going to interview at Southwest.
I do not even remember this.
You reach out. And he goes, you'll never remember this, but I sat next to you in a plane. And he wrote back to you and said, or maybe sent you an email or something and said, I do remember that. Tell your friend, best of luck, I'm rooting for him, da-da-da-da-da.
Are you kidding me? I did not. I don't even remember.
You remember
that.
sitting by Herb?
Oh, I remember that. I got to spend 4 hours with him.
Aviation is insane.
Aviation is probably the craziest industry that you can be in. I mean, that's just crazy to bring that up and to think about that. And you never know. You always have to be ready. And I thought, my gosh, that was going to be en route to Southwest Airlines, and it turned out not to be, which, aviation is also that. That was kind of, I was going to follow up with I'll do that to the very end, but my question I want you to answer, the very last question is, and you can think about this, but did your aviation career go like you thought it would?
Okay.
All right.
You want me to answer that now or
No.
later?
All right, so
Why
a little personal,
are you teasing me with stuff
a
now?
little personal stuff between you and I.
Oh, come on.
That when you have a flight instructor,
this is where you have that anger. Are you ready to release the anger?
Listen, you have a flight instructor. He becomes a personal friend. You've known him for 40 years, and there's certain things in your past, like with some of your best friends, where you need to go through this stuff. You need to almost counsel yourself through this stuff and talk about some of these memories because they're something else. So let's start off with, tell me the time.
Go ahead, let it out.
When we were instrument training. We were over Lincoln.
I know exactly
It was
where you're
bumpy.
going.
It was hot.
Yes.
I'm under the hood. A hood is this plastic thing like this where you can only see the instruments, and you're working on your instrument training. And then when you're complete, and it's time to go land, you take the hood off and you just fly back to the airport. What happened?
I mean, that is a tough situation. I'm going to give you this. I mean, when you're that it limits your bit, like you can't see, and it's bumpy, and it's hot as blazes, and you hurled, dude. Like you hurled.
Yeah, but here's how it went down. I took the hood off, and I said, man, I'm not feeling so good. And the minute you say that to yourself, you've already gone into the zone of something's going to happen. You've admitted defeat. You've told your body, it's okay. And I said, I do not feel good. I think I need to throw up. I don't know why you had a trash bag in the airplane, but you did. And that's what saved the day. Because it wasn't, once I knew.
Unloaded.
I unloaded.
I think we might have just eaten like a big lunch or something too.
I'm sure we did. It was disgusting, but thank the Lord above, you had a trash bag. And that's the only time I've ever gotten sick in an airplane, is instrument training. So
did I immediately throw up as well?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, I've never thrown up ever in an airplane. So I just want to put that out there. Another area of superiority. No. Hey, I've been close.
I don't have that many dumb
Like the
stories that you
aerobatic
have.
stuff gets close. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And you taught aerobatics.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Story on
the
that.
only aerobatics I ever did was in a Marchetti with you in Champaign, Illinois.
That yellow plane?
The yellow
Yes.
one, we went out and did some. That was the first time I ever did any aerobatics.
I got to tell a quick story about that aerobatic story, because when I was initially checking out in that airplane, I mean, I'd flown aerobatic, I'd done this. So this guy had just been to some aerobatic training and was doing this, and he goes, "Oh yeah, let me show you some stuff." Well, that.
Watch this.
Yeah, watch this.
Show me stuff and watch this. Don't ever say that as a pilot.
A hammerhead stall. Okay, so a hammer stall, you pull straight up, you allow the aircraft to lose speed, and just at the right time, you kick the rudder and it rotates, and then you're going straight down, and then you pull out. Okay? Watch this. I'm a passenger. He pulls straight up.
What are you in?
We're in that airplane, that Thai Marchetti. He pulls straight up. He's like, looking good. He kicks the rudder, and the aircraft literally does this. Like a half inch. So we're out at airspeed.
Were you so slow the rudder didn't have effectivity?
Yeah,
He didn't do
waited
it. He
way
waited
too long. We got nothing. We're a passenger. So it slides backwards. I've never gone like backwards in an airplane like that. And then it does this. It goes, like it doesn't go straight down. It goes beyond vertical. So it rotates like, 230 degrees or something. And it goes, because it's got no speed. And then it finally kind of accelerates. And then we're going. He pulls back up and we're kind of like, whoo. But then we look, the propeller stopped. It's not even turning.
What?
It's like, it quit because of all the gyrations and everything. And we're kind of like.
How high above the ground are you at this point?
We had altitude. That's the only thing we had. No ideas, no airspeed, passengers, but we had room. And so I was like, why don't you hit that key over there? We turned it and it took off. And that's where we just flew back to the airport. We were both so done. Watch this. Watch this.
The two words you hear before an accident.
Watch this.
Whether you're on a motorcycle.
Well, you're going to buzz somebody. Watch this.
Yeah.
Dude, don't. They'll do it anyway. You can't stop them.
So let's move on to probably, other than you selling the...
We're back to your personal. These are your personal things you've tagged on to the end.
I think I need to get this out onto the internet so they'll be out there forever. Because although you were a very good instructor and you're my friend for 40 years, you've done me dirty.
Go ahead, let it fly.
So
release it. Release the venom.
Typically, we both had motorcycles.
Oh, man.
We flew, we ate together, we rode together, and we had a stint of playing a lot of racquetball. Because I was full-time.
Yeah, okay.
I was full-time.
You mentioned this earlier. Here we go.
And all I know is when people play sports against me and they aren't in the lead, they cheat. And what happened in this particular case is going beyond cheating in racquetball. And when the racquetball player is in front of you and the ball is coming, you're not supposed to swing at a ball so that the racket will hit the person in front of you in the back.
Did it like slice you open or anything? What happened?
I don't think it did.
There wasn't any blood, right?
No.
Was there a scar?
The point is you hit me in the back.
There was
with the racket. Now,
there was mental scars.
There was mental scars to this day when you're in front of me. And the point of the story, I think, is...
Okay. Go ahead.
The aggression that came out of you for losing at racquetball was immature. The world needs to know. All right.
So whoa. Okay. let's think about this a little bit.
All
like
right.
as you described it, and I'm glad you did, and I'm glad we could have this discussion.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because what I just heard you say is
What I just heard you say.
is
I'm talking to my wife. What I heard you say. Tell me if this
the
is
ball
correct.
was coming. The ball was coming, right?
Yeah.
I see the ball. This is what a normal individual engaged in a competition like racquetball would do. I'm focused. I'm going after the ball. But you inserted your body between my racket and the ball.
Oh, I see. So let me get this straight if I heard you right.
Please repeat back to me what I said.
I took a vector
Yes.
in
It was a
so
poor
that
vector.
you couldn't stop.
It was a very poor vector.
You couldn't stop.
Oh.
It's
I'm focused on that.
one of the things that you do, I think, especially when you're talking to an FAA person, is you take responsibility. You take responsibility for the things that you do, and then you can get past it. But if you don't, it leaves scars and it leaves consequences, and that's what you're suffering
The
right now.
hurt feelings.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. That's a really good idea. That's going nowhere.
One time, just some kind of personal
Is this
memories. Oh, yeah. We both had German Shepherds,
Yeah.
and he had a German Shepherd dog
I think I know where you're
that
going here.
was pretty aggressive,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
She was a sweetheart, but she was an aggressive German Shepherd. Our wives were
Mainly
together.
around you.
Well, the very first memory I have is going to Warren's house, going into the basement, meeting Dallas for the first time is probably a 8 or 10 week, and she's growling at my wife and I, growling at
No,
us.
at you. Not your wife, you.
So the dogs are now a little bit older, probably 1, and I have my German Shepherd, he has his. We're all hanging out as a family of 4, he and I, our wives, the dogs. For whatever reason, I go to the grocery store with his wife, he stays home with mine. The dogs get into it, and then
they
his
go out.
dog bites him right here and puts a hole in his arm.
Yeah, that was bad.
And karma
Yeah. You
is
weren't
where
there, but
you get hit in the back playing racquetball.
Did that happen after or before?
And it was after, and then you get bit by your own dog. And that's why I got to tell that story.
All right.
All right, let's
That's
talk
fine.
about
That's
this
fine.
Beechcraft winning.
Yeah.
You won
Yeah.
the Musketeer.
It is an awesome story. Yeah.
His son is an A&P, by the way, so not only did he win an airplane, he has someone to work on his airplane, and is the FAA, I don't know what that means as far as from a standpoint, but I just think it's all pretty cool.
That airplane we were sitting in, and I have to clarify this. My wife won it.
I know.
She's the only non-pilot in the family.
Right.
Both our kids are pilots. My mom is a pilot. Her dad is a pilot. The only reason I met her is because she knew pilots and she worked at the airport. So we met, which is a whole nother story. But, he almost ruined. But we have amazing wives.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely amazing. And you can thank me for for your wife even saying
All right,
yes.
let's stay
to you.
on track.
Okay.
So she literally signs up. It was a organization called Wings of Hope out of St. Louis. Great organization. But they raffle off 1 or 2 airplanes every year. And she happened to see this, and she didn't even talk to me about this. She goes to my son and says, "Hey, would you fly this airplane?" He's like, "Yeah, I'd fly there." She goes, "I'm going to win that airplane. So then you'll have this airplane to fly." I don't even know anything about it. Okay. So she buys 1 ticket, and, at the end of the day, you're thinking, well, it's a good charitable cause.
For sure.
Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
This is crazy. She gets a phone call on her birthday. And by the way, my wife is one of these people who just wins if there's ever a raffle, a drawing, or she always wins the prize. Always winning. So on her birthday, she gets a phone call, and they basically say, "Hey, this is a real phone call. Do not hang up. I've just got a couple of questions. Just hang with me here a little bit. Did you enter a raffle to win an airplane?" And she's like, "Yes." And
He doesn't really talk that way.
she doesn't. Oh, that's true. And they go, well, you won the airplane. It was just like that. And so we go down there and we take delivery of this airplane, which we fly all over.
Unbelievable
we fly
story.
Coast to coast, went to the Reno air races, flew to California. My son flies it all the time.
And your kids are able to build time in this thing. It's just crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, so that is it's kind of a unique story.
So another kind of cool story, I think you're on a layover, I believe it was in the south of France.
Oh, yeah.
And you, what else do you do but go just kind of see what's going on when you're on your layover, something to do, and you go watch an Ironman.
Yeah, and I don't even know what's an Ironman. If you know what an Ironman is, it's a triathlon, but it's the longest triathlon. And you swim, like close to 2.5 miles. Then you bike 110 miles, and then you run a marathon. That's an Ironman.
And you decided, I want to do that.
Yeah, I didn't even know what it was because I'm just like, what is going on out here? There's people always wondering. But they're coming across the finish line, and people are freaking out. I'm like, what's the big deal? I didn't realize what they had just done. And they're like, you're an Ironman, and I got this. And it was just like a really cool environment. So let's tell the full story.
I don't know.
Because I was telling you about this, and you said, let's do an Ironman together. Remember this.
I mean, I could have said something like that.
So I'm like, that's a great idea, Mike. We're good buddies. This will be awesome. I start training. Like I'm training for a couple months. Like it's on. Like next year we'll do an Ironman. You got to train for like a year to do this. I'm full on training. I check in with you. Oh yeah, I'm not training. What do you mean you're not training? Like I'm like signed up. I'm committed to this thing. Yeah, I'm not doing it.
I don't remember it that way.
So he reneged on me.
But you did it though, right?
Yes, I went and did it without you. Thank you.
And I remember the funniest thing about him telling the story is, if I recall this right, you got off the bike, you started running, and a few miles in, you said to me, it felt like there were Rottweilers on my calves. And then you had to walk because you didn't have your nutrition correct until your nutrition worked out after a couple hours, and then you were able to finish it by the run.
Because the big thing is nutrition.
Getting it right.
And number one, getting to the event healthy, because you have to train so much.
Yeah.
Most people don't even get to the starting line because you're injured, because you have to overtrain. And I had worked on my nutrition, but I like cheeseburgers and stuff, so maybe I was off a little. But yes, like you just deplete everything you have. And so there was nothing in the tank.
That's crazy.
And so I had to
walk and eat.
I had to walk and eat, and I finally got going. And I did complete it.
That's good. Very good. You get 16 hours.
But you're doing better. You're doing better than me now. See, I just did the one and done quick. I did an Ironman, so I don't need to exercise ever again in my life. But you've done a better job of staying in shape.
It's funny.
But it's important as a pilot to kind of stay in shape. And
it is. Yeah. It is. You got these physicals every 6 months. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, all thanks for letting me vent on that a little bit.
So, so another kind of personal thing, which I think is completely cool, you became a pastor.
Yeah. People, they freak out on that. They're like, Warren Smith?
A pastor?
What? No way.
What happened? What?
Well, this is what happens. A guy gets a hold of you, and this happened when I had this corporate job. I mean, it really bothered me. It started to bug me that I couldn't really serve in the church and do things, because the minute I would sign up for something, got a trip, gotta go, got a trip. And I was really kind of torn between career and really a calling. Yeah. And so I go, this isn't going to work. And I tried to kind of pull back, because I was very deep in the company. I was director, I think I was chief pilot maybe at the time. And, I was in the management, and, not only did I fly, but I was, and so I tried to kind of back myself out a little bit, maybe it just didn't work. It kind of just fell apart. And, but I really felt the calling to go do some preaching. And the FAA, has allowed me to have that, weekend, to be able to do that on weekends. So
really, by you doing this pastoral thing, leaving the corporate aviation allowed you to do that. And so that's when the FAA thing came about. Came about after
No,
that.
I was with the
Oh, you
FAA,
were
so I was bivocational. But now I have
Oh.
weekends. I have evenings. I have actually a schedule.
And that's where the airlines were not doing it for you.
Right.
Yeah.
I just and I was early in an airline career, which you have the worst schedule. It gets
sure.
way better, but I didn't start there.
Right.
And so so the FAA has been phenomenal because it's been a great job, but it's also allowed me to be at my calling.
That's awesome.
To do that. So
That is awesome. I love that.
and that's the thing with even an aviation career, as good as it is, it will never like fully satisfy you. Even when you get to the top, you're at the top of the corporate ladder or whatever, you're always kind of like, is this it? Is there more? So it's worked out great.
That's fantastic, man. Did your aviation career go how you thought it would?
Listen,
I think we already know it hasn't.
nobody wakes up one day in high school and says, you know what I want to do? I want to go to work for the FAA. Like
Yeah.
no one in the FAA started out saying, oh, I want to go work for the FAA. Everyone who is in the FAA is there because it's in aviation. So you're using all your training and you have a phenomenal schedule and a ton of time off.
Yeah.
And I am so glad like I had the aviation experience that I did. I mean, it was the best.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal.
It prepared you to really be probably a very good FAA examiner / inspector / whatever.
I couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
I couldn't even be in the FAA doing what I did without the background. But I'm also really happy I'm at the FAA.
That's
If
cool.
that makes any sense. I mean, I wouldn't trade my aviation, like the experiences for anything. I mean,
Very cool.
Meeting you, like the whole people that I now know
Yeah.
because of aviation, people that still I run into. You gave me a check ride, we worked together. Yeah, I did that. It just continues to
That's cool.
develop that, and those things continue to happen. But so it's been crazy, and now to bring it like full circle, now we have this little airplane. It's like almost like I've gone all the way up, but then come back to teaching my kids is just like you and I when we started 40 years ago. Here I am sitting next to my son, teaching him how to fly.
It's wild.
Lean back with the door open, but watching him, like.
You got to watch that kid.
And he's like, Dad, and now he's better than me. He's a better pilot than I am.
Really?
Oh yeah, and my daughter too. My daughter also a pilot, and they're better than me.
Yeah, good.
I don't tell them that. Don't let them know that.
Oh, we won't, will we?
But they'll
won't
be
at
like,
all.
Dad, hey, Dad, that's not how we do it. That's an old way. Like, here's the new way to do that. Okay.
So advice, two points. Advice to aspiring pilots. That's number one. Aspiring. And then the hardest part, I believe, in aviation, and we talked about this earlier, is getting from your rating. Ratings are complete, 300 hours,
Yeah.
to that 1,500 hour mark, or not necessarily even to the 1,500 hour mark, but to that point where you have a career in whatever it is. So aspiring pilots' advice, and then that 300 to 1,500 hour mark, which I thought is definitely the hardest part.
Yeah. So aspiring pilot, well, I know, I hope people, I love this aviation bug, you kind of know it when you got it,
yeah.
when you're just looking up at the sky. And, we came up, like, what'd you say, 1985,
Yep.
Top Gun comes out. Probably right after we started, right?
It was a shot in the arm. It was July 85 I started, Top Gun came out in 86. So,
It was insane. I'll never forget, I'm sitting in the movie theater in that opening scene, in the aircraft carrier, and you're just like.
it was life-changing. I think
So we're Top Gun era, Top Gun 1,
yeah.
aspiring, we were in our careers.
And even if it was military aviation, it was just aviation. It was something that just
And we were
fired
kind of
you up
living
so
the
hard.
Top Gun life already. We had motorcycles. We were at the airport every day. We're flying every day. And so in that movie, it just further like immersed us into it.
Aspiring pilots, I guess if you have the bug, there's not much to aspire, is there?
Yeah. Because, and I told my kids both about this. When they said, Dad, we want to be pilots. No. That's a terrible idea. No, you're just doing it because I do it, and that ain't going to work. That ain't going to fly. It's not something that you can just kind of, I just learned to fly like bowling, If you're going in, you go all in and you do it right. You don't do this half-baked. No, you ain't doing it. You're not going to do it. No thanks.
It's too difficult
Dad, I want to take some
anyway.
flying lessons. No. And honestly, what I was doing, I was just kind of curious, do they have the bug?
Yeah.
Do they have the aviation bug? Because if they do, well, let me say, if they don't, they'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, they were wanting to do it for all the wrong reasons. But if they got the bug, they will not stop.
That's true.
Dad, come on, like, really, I want to do it. No. Why don't we just go? No. And finally, I'm like, so you really want to do this? Like, why do you want to do this? Dude, because you start hearing, okay,
Yeah.
They got the bug.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay.
Because the
Okay.
hard things do not stop them at all. Those who have
That's
that
right.
aviation bug, probably the academics, the flying
Yes.
is the fun part, the academics is the have to part,
Yeah.
and the academic stops a lot of people who don't get that bug. It just stops them. They don't want to put the effort in.
It's extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the bug, if you don't have that passion, you got to have it to pull you through those really hard times, the check rides, just the craziness and the fail in you can't figure it out. You can't land. You're so frustrated. You can't figure out the crosswind landing. I'm just gonna quit. Like I told him, I said, you don't understand how hard this is gonna get. You don't know. And they're kind of going through that now.
Because they're at that 300 to 1,500 hour mark, right?
Yes.
They're in that.
They're in the ditch.
Talk about that.
Okay, so that's the first thing. Like, aspiring.
Starting,
Well,
yeah.
are you really aspiring? Because you're going to want to quit. You're going to hate it. You're going to be traveling. There's that nobody talks about. It's tough.
It is.
And okay, so now you go, yeah, I'm doing it. All right, fine. So they dig in, and it's awesome. Private. We'll do some graphics probably with this too, but there's a graphic that shows you start out and you're so happy you're a private pilot and your first solo, it's just going up and up and up. And then all of a sudden you get, I think it's instrument. Shink!
Oh, that's a tough one.
Oh, because you got to start all over again. You've flown visually, but now we're going to put this hood on you and you can't see outside and we're going to start all over again. Now you're going to learn to fly just by looking inside.
And the regulations you have to learn and the things that you have to learn are tenfold. They're tenfold to the private.
Yeah, it's unnatural, it's uncomfortable, it's hot, you feel sick, yeah. So you got to get through that, and then you get to the CFI, and it's even worse. You're like, I can't do anything right, and it's just hard. But you get through the training, okay. But now you're in the ditch. You're a pilot, maybe you're even a flight instructor. Okay, nobody wants you. You're not going to fly anything for me. I'm never going to pay you. So that's your question, right? So now I've got 250, 300 hours. I'm the coolest guy. I've learned everything. I'm ready to go.
Depending on timing.
If you hit COVID, bing, you're golden. They would have hired you so fast, but we're not in COVID anymore.
And things are starting to turn around.
Things are backing up. So we don't need you. We don't want you. Go away. That's all. That's what I heard. And so are you going to be able to get through that? How do you get through that? I guess that's the question. You got to look for opportunities.
And take them.
And my kids are both going through this right now. Like my son, he wants to do the corporate pilot thing. And that it can be really tough to get those jobs. But here's what became available to him. Is a really good aviation mechanic job for a company that does corporate flying. He'd love to slide over to their...
And in college, he happened to go through the aviation maintenance program.
He knocked it out. That's what his suggestion. Why don't you just go get your A&P? It's something I wish... Okay. So he just went and did it, knocked it. It's like nothing. Just knocked it out. Well, now he's got that. So this company where he went and interviewed with, maybe he has like 500 hours. Well, they kind of laugh at him like, dude, no, you're not ready. You can't handle this right now.
Right.
But you're a mechanic? Let me walk you down to the shop and introduce you to our like lead mechanic guy. This is a big operation. They take him down there and they're like, you got a toolbox? Yeah. You got tools? Yeah. And you're an A&P mechanic? Yeah. All right. The job's yours. Do you want first shift or second shift? Well, he's a second shift guy all the way, dude. He's sleeping in,
Right.
but he's wide awake at night. So he literally just walked right in the door with a really good mechanic shop. And now he's getting to know everyone in the company. It's just a matter of time before he steps into the flying, because he really wants to be in the flying position. But he took this opportunity,
Yeah.
and that's only going to help him. My daughter, same kind of thing. She got, and my son did too. She had an opportunity to do aerial photography, and I literally walked out of my hangar one day, and I see this guy over next to me because we had just gotten this airplane we won. Walk out of the hangar, this guy goes, "Hey, I won!" I'm like, "Bob, what's going on?" He goes, "Well, I got this, I started this company," and I had known him through an EAA chapter of Weird Things. And he goes, "I started this aerial photography company." And he goes, "I'm looking for some pilots." I go, "Well, I know a couple of pilots.
Wow.
I'll send them over." He hired them immediately. So, And but here's the thing with that. Well, my daughter, it's tough for the females because what do you do with a family?
Yeah.
Well, we just had our first grandchild a year ago. So now she's moved from, she took that and she did that and got all kinds of hours doing it. But then got pregnant and I can't do that anymore. But they said, "Hey, would you continue to do the processing of the film for us?"
Oh, wow.
She's like, "Sure."
So she's maintained her job,
So
even though
she's
she's not
maintained
doing
a
the flying for
continuity.
right now.
So anyway, you just got to scrap and claw for opportunities and don't pass them up. You've had the same thing. You've had you were towing like drones and Learjets for the military
the
targets.
thing that I always tell people who ask me is make yourself available for any opportunity.
Yes.
And it might not be necessarily the thing that you want to do, but if it's going to add to your resume and get you to that 1,500 hour mark, if your goal is to progress up the chain, but be it corporate, be it airlines, whatever it is, and you know that you have to have more time, you might need to move from the location you want to live in to the location you don't, because this pain is temporary. If you have this temporary pain per se, you might get back here faster because you took this pain in order to attain this. Because if you don't have on paper what people are looking for, they probably won't give you a second look. And so you might need to go do something you don't necessarily love. It's not bad, but you might not love it. I know I've had to do that. I mean, it's just part of the game. It's part of the process.
It's part of the pain. And every airline pilot in existence, every corporate pilot, anybody who's got an aviation job, I'm sure you'll vouch for this, has been through the ditch.
Oh, yeah.
And had to
100%.
just suck it up and make it happen. And so it's like a rite of passage. You just got to do it.
But you learn a lot in that gap. In that 300 to 1,500, you learn.
It shapes you for your whole career because your career gets easier. It's never harder than it is at that point.
No way.
The
Absolutely.
flying is easier. It's almost backwards, It should be when you get more experience, then you do the hard. No, aviation's totally upside down, but you got to pass the test. And if you don't have the aviation bug, you'll never get out of the ditch.
That's true.
You got to stick with it. Man.
All right.
But 40 years, dude.
That's 40 years.
40 years.
I feel like I'm 100 when I talk about it, even though I feel like I'm right back with you.
I feel like we're in a better place now than when we started in the airplane.
Mentally?
I think we're in a better place psychologically, mentally, not physically, but.
You have any other advice? Anything else that you want to part with? I think we've covered it all.
You can have all the advice you want. At the end of the day, you just got to get through it.
Yeah. It's been fun, Warren.
Yeah.
It's been a great, fun interview. Our friendship will continue. Folks, for you that have tuned in to the very first Aviation Bug episode, thank you. Keep watching. Lots and lots of guests to come. Lots of different stories, different type of aviation people. It's going to be fun. And I will see you in the future. Take care. Tune in. Subscribe, like, tell your friends. It's going to be a fun ride. See ya.
Good luck.